Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Special haunted episode
of God. What's the name of our YouTube channel again?
I will say.
I will say this though. I
We're
will.
already forgetting the name of the show. We're off to a great start.
I will say this though. Well, it's a new name. Like we haven't used it in the last two, but now we do.
All right.
So.
What are we doing today, Jimmy?
So today, Danny, are you aware of the classic children's horror book series Goosebumps by R.L. Stine?
I've heard of them.
Yes. I
was a little bitch as a kid, and I was scared to read any of these, so I never actually read them. Now I love horror, but I did not as a kid.
Cool. So I actually, when I was growing up, I wasn't a little bitch. I did read, not all of them, but like some of them, like, you know, the good ones. So my history of Goosebumps is actually pretty, I think, like, you know, it kept me reading when I was a kid. Now I'm an avid reader, so, you know, I owe a lot of my my current day personality to, like, R.L. Stine and his ghostwriters.
Ghostwriters!
He denies having ghostwriters, but he almost certainly has ghostwriters.
I mean, my understanding is that he'd publish like a new book every 2 months or so, and unless you're Chuck Tingle, I don't know who could possibly keep up with that kind of publication schedule.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Chuck Tingle is also like a number of people.
Oh, don't let him hear you say that. He has vehemently denied it.
Yeah. Anyways, so going back to children's literature. Moving away from that tangent about Chuck Tingle.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I met R.L. Stine once when he was in Toronto.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it wasn't like a great. I mean, no, like he did a little reading of his writing. It was cool. He's pretty cool. But when I actually met him, he was pretty like, you know, move it along. You know what I mean? Which I understand. You know, I don't expect him to like, you know, spend like an hour talking to me or anything. Especially
most of my encounters with famous people have been under the exact same circumstances.
Yeah, so you know, like I'm not like, you know, I'm not saying he's an asshole or something, but I'm just saying that. But he did sign my copy of the first Goosebumps book,
which is called like Bad House or
Welcome to Dead House, which is pretty cool. I still have that. So yeah, Goosebumps is pretty important to me. It's not important to Danny.
I mean, the idea of Goosebumps is something that is very nostalgic for me, even if I never actually read them, just seeing them around. And these covers are really evocative, and they do bring back memories.
Exactly.
Even if I never actually looked past the covers, because I, again, was a little bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So now I said so much about R.L. Stine and his writing, but listen, we're not talking about any of that today. No. We're only talking about, we're ranking the Goosebumps books by their covers. And by covers, this means the image, of course, the little painting that they do. God, I don't even know who the artist is. You should probably.
I'm sure it was one person all the way through.
Yeah.
We'll look that. Do we want to look that up now, or should we look that up later?
We'll look that up later. Let's just explain what we're doing first.
All right.
So we're talking about the image, the painting, along with the title and also the tagline, and we're going to be talking about how they, you know, draw us into the books, because literally when I was a kid, I chose which Goosebumps book to read based on a cover.
Yeah, that's the point of, they say not to judge a book by its cover, but you're always going to be doing that to an extent, and the cover is the thing that reaches out and grabs your attention.
Exactly.
If it does it right.
It should be never judge a book by its cover, except when it's a Goosebumps book, because only judge it by the cover.
I think horror books in general,
yeah.
Actually, I recently... This is a tangent again. I recently read a non-fiction book about the history of horror fiction mainly in the 70s and 80s. It's called Paperbacks from Hell. Recommend. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of stuff in there about how there was a kind of competition, like arms race of books to come up with a really attention-grabbing gimmick. And even if the book itself wasn't that good, if the cover caught your attention, it could still sell really well.
Exactly, and I think the same thing was said for this. And R.L. Stine knew this, because as what I understand is R.L. Stine did, like, he would come up with the title first and then write a story based on that, so he knows the importance of an attention-grabbing thing on the front cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we should get started, because there are literally, like, how many of these are there? Like 60-something of these? Like, what are these? Original 62?
62. We have two tabs open. One is the regular tier maker, and another is a place where we can see higher quality, good size versions of the cover image, because there's no way we'll be able to, through the tiny thumbnails that Tiermaker has, wonderful a site though it is, there is no way we'll be able to have much in depth to say about whatever this
like
one is.
Whatever this is. Correct. So there are a lot of these. We should probably get started.
Yeah, what do we want to call the tiers? Just leave them as is for quality?
Let's just leave them, because it's quality, so there's
right.
nothing particularly...
Now, unfortunately, Tiermaker does not have them listed in the order they came out.
Yeah, so...
so we'll be...
Yes.
Do we want to do this by publication order, then?
Yeah, we'll just go by publication order. And also, just as an added thing, Danny is going to be trying to guess what the plot is of each book.
Yeah, I'm going to come up with,
just by
based on the cover, my own plot synopsis.
Yeah.
So I will do my best not to look at where it lists the blurbs on the Goosebumps wiki article that we will be getting the covers from.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started with the first Goosebumps book, published in 1992, Welcome to Dead House. So this is the image. It's a creepy house with the tagline up here.
It will just kill you. And there's some kind of werewolf or something through the
Oh,
window.
Jesus, I never even noticed that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, because without that, I was going to say I would give this like a C, because it's kind of like just the house, you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm calling this one an S tier.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not just a scary house. It's a scary house with this red light coming through and this scary face in the window. And it's simple, but for book one, all you need is simple but evocative. You don't need to go outlandish yet. It's simple and it works.
I see that, but also this is like the very first one. I think it would make more sense to put this maybe like as like a or maybe even a B, and just like maybe towards the end reassess it, maybe move up.
That's fair.
Do you want to quickly guess like what the plot of this is?
All right, so Billy and his sister Cindy have just moved into a new neighborhood, and you know what? This is actually one of the books where I do know a little bit about the plot, because my brother did read it, and he told me a little about it. I think there's a dog named Petey who turns into a ghost, and that's about all I remember. So I'm going to say they move next door to a haunted house, and in the house is the ghost of Petey, who is a werewolf now, and that's him through the window, and he is coming out at night to pee on Billy and Cindy's mom's flower garden, and she doesn't like that, and eventually they have to go into the house, and they go down into the basement of the house, where Petey's bones are, and they can finally give him a proper Christian burial, and he can finally be at peace. Hallelujah.
Cool. Very interesting plot. You know what's funny, though? I'm pretty sure there aren't any werewolves in this book, but which is weird, because this very much is clearly
like
a werewolf. I don't know why there's a werewolf here, which is another reason why I was going to say maybe give it a lower ranking. But let's just put a B for now, like in the middle, and then like towards the end,
if we remember.
Yeah.
All right.
Book 2.
Stay out of the basement.
So I like this one more than the Dead House one, because I think it's the first time we see like a creature on one of these covers.
Yeah, this is a better cover.
Yeah, and it's like, other than the random fake werewolf that's not even in the story. And also, something's waiting in the dark. That's definitely a much better tagline than
it will just kill you is a terrible tagline.
Yeah, something's waiting for the darkness.
Right.
Stay out of the basement.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I do like this a
lot. So in this book, Billy and Cindy, different Billy, different Cindy, have moved into a new house, and there's a basement that they're scared to go down into, and maybe their parents tell them it's all right, and I think their dad has a vegetable garden out back, and something weird is happening in his vegetable garden, and he's getting sent it's very clear that something strange is happening with all the plant life, and it turns out that there is a wood woes living in their basement.
Wood woes? What's a wood woes?
A man who is made out of plant.
Oh. Okay.
And he's evil, and he comes up into the kitchen, and they have to fight him.
Sorry, wood woe. How do you spell that?
W-O-S-E. It's an Anglo-Saxon mythological
Oh,
beastie.
okay. Cool. I'm just from memory, I'm pretty sure this is something to do with like science fiction or something. I don't know. A lot of these aren't really horror; they're more sci-fi. It's kind of weird. But yeah. So I think this is. I'd say A, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the creature. I think that's my number one draw. For,
and the fact that you can just see his hand reaching in such a threatening
Yeah.
way, like, oh no, he's coming up. He's done waiting in the dark. He's going to come get us in the light.
Exactly. Also, like, stay out of the basement. That's like, That's like some like Jordan Peele like title like Get Out kind of like thing where it's like it's giving a command to the audience. I like that. I think all the elements worked very well together here.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Also, I just realized it's kind of unfair to like judge this one for having a werewolf when the story isn't actually about werewolves, because like a lot of these, we don't know what the plot is.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to consider.
And I know
how
that
much it represents the story
famously,
at all.
quite a few of them have covers that are extremely not indicative.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to those. There's one that everyone remembers as being pissed off by, and we'll get to that one. Okay, so next one.
Monster Blood.
God, I love this.
Oh yeah, this one had sequels, didn't it?
Yeah, this is. Okay,
it's a Monster Blood Drive. That's terrible. So
it's hilarious though.
Point off for the line.
I do like this though, because
that's cool. Yeah,
it implies that all this was a person at some point.
Is it a person who melted?
I don't remember. I think
the image of it dripping down the steps is very creepy. It reminds me of the blood in the elevator in The Shining.
Yeah, and I like that it's like a familiar setting, like it's like someone's house. Like, the readers can be like, oh, this is like dripping in my own house.
In my own house.
Yeah. What's great about these stories is that the blood itself is the monster. So it's like they never actually encounter the monster.
Oh, it's not the blood of a monster.
No.
It is blood that is itself a monster.
Yeah, it's blood that is monstrous in and of itself.
Okay.
And I think that what's great about the series, like the Monster Blood series, is that every sequel, the blood does something different. Like in one of them, it like makes you grow, and another one, it like eats you. I don't know. It's just like which I really, but that's not. Yeah, that's not relevant to thing. But I'd say this also goes in A. Like I feel like it has like the same strengths as.
I would give it a B. Just because it's a Monster Blood Drive is a really terrible tagline.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Say cheese and die.
One picture is worth 1,000 screams.
I like that. I like that this has a period on it.
Yeah, not an exclamation point.
I think because they saw this as an exclamation point, they're like, oh, that's too many. Oh, by the way, hey, look, the artist, T. Jacobus.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so T. Jacobus, great job on
his art, even when the premise of the painting isn't that interesting. Like, the technique is great. I love his use of eye-catching, lurid colors. Mm-hmm. It's very distinct. He did a terrific job.
By the way, neither of us have, like... Well, I don't. I can't speak for Danny. But well, no, Danny, you draw, right? So like neither of us have. Well, yeah, we don't have like particularly like deep art backgrounds. So,
no,
but I do like the.
I know what I like.
Yeah, I like this one. I think it raises questions about the story. Like because it's a photograph, so it's like.
Yeah. How did a photograph? Are these skeletons that have been posed? Is this? Oh, I never said what I thought Monster Blood was about.
Oh, yeah. What do you think Monster Blood is about?
I think it's about a monster who has been killed. Oh, I mean, you told me a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's about... All right, so a monster was wearing glasses and was living in the attic of Billy and Cindy's new house that they just moved into with their family. And the monster, he popped for some reason. I think the sunlight killed him. He's allergic to sunlight. And then all his blood comes down the stairs, but the blood forms into this like new monster who is this sort of blob creature. And how can you kill a blob creature? You can't beat it to death. It's a liquid. You can't stab it. It's a liquid. And eventually they kill it with extreme cold.
Okay. Is that the plot of the Blob?
Partly.
Okay, cool. Okay. So...
I do actually know the premise to this one.
Right, it's a camera that if it takes a picture or something. Yeah. This is probably one of the more iconic Goosebumps ones.
It is. Wasn't that also the premise to Final Destination?
No. Final Destination is like visions. It's not like a camera.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, I'd consider giving this S tier. I think it's like very creative. I think one picture is worth 1,000 screams. That's both like kind of funny and also like...
It's not too cheesy. It's...
Yeah. Which, cheesy.
Oh, yeah, because he's in hamburgers.
Yeah. No, because...
Oh, cheese and... Yeah.
Also because, like, when I think of Goosebumps covers, this is the one that, like, I think people... always floats people's minds, Like, I don't know if that's for you, but...
It was one of the stories that definitely, I feel like, got the most attention. I know what it's about. I don't know exactly what... there was one, the cover... We'll get to it, I'm sure. The cover is like a jar full of spiders.
I don't remember that one.
All right, I'm sure
we'll get to that, but yeah.
And that's my point. You don't remember it. No one knows what it's about. I think it was a later on one.
Yeah. So are we good putting this in S tier?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a...
is this alphabetized?
No, this is just random, I think.
Oh, great. There.
Here it is. Okay.
Skeleton cookout.
Cool.
Yes, and that's another point in its favor. It's got skeletons.
Yes, that's
I
true.
like skeletons.
Yeah, also I like how creative
I've got
this is.
one.
It's like because I think the best Goosebumps covers are like a mishmash of like normalcy and also horror.
Yeah.
And I think this does a good job. It's like a family photo, but everyone is skeletons.
And yeah, it's not something that we've seen a million times. Like, Stay Out of the Basement, great cover image, but you see it and you're just like, oh yeah, it's about a plant monster that lives in the basement.
That's true.
This one, you see it and you're like, ooh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. I like this one, but it is very basic.
I don't like this one.
like his...
It is very like it's not. It's just a mummy. It's
What
just
would
like
wake the dead.
like
Yeah.
the composition is just he's just straight on. It's just a flat.
Yeah,
you know what I
it's
mean.
slightly angled, but I like his glowing red eyes. I like his design, but,
Yeah, but-
it is extremely basic.
Extremely basic.
In this book, Bimmy and Jimmy have just moved into a new house in Egypt because their dad is a diplomat, and it's set in the 1960s, and he's trying to figure out the Suez Crisis. Mm-hmm. And they go on a tour of a pyramid, and they get accidentally locked under it, and they have to, they accidentally trip this curse, and they have to get out before the mummy strangles them to death.
Cool. I like how you just assume it's people moving to Egypt because their dad's a diplomat, rather than this is a book about Egyptian kids. You know what I mean? But I get it because Goosebumps, they're all like American.
Yeah,
yeah. But like,
if it were a book about Egyptian kids, that could also be read. But let's face it, that's probably not what it's about.
yeah, I don't think there are any Egyptian kids who live in the tourist traps. Well, probably like in the area.
There must be.
Yeah, but not on the. Anyways,
No one lives in the pyramids.
so wait, where is this?
Not in real
Here it is.
life. I wrote a story once where
Can we do D? I honestly say
D seems harsh. I give it a C.
Okay.
Because I do like The Mummy,
Yeah.
even though it is a very basic
I mean,
cover.
there's also nothing really interesting about the mummy. It's just the basic, whatever you think a mummy is.
Yeah,
this is
it's
just
the
that.
Kari style,
Yeah.
just lumbering around, gonna strangle you. But I don't know. There's something I think still powerful about that.
Okay.
And that image is kind of, it's just so simple, but it does what it's doing quite well.
Okay.
I'm inclined to give it a C.
Okay. Let's do that then. Let's get invisible. Now you see him. Now you don't.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
but
It's a Horla.
hold on a second. Wait. His hand is visible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's looking at his hand.
The fuck?
Because his legs are turning see-through.
Yeah, but he's what? This is.
Oh, no. His hand is slightly see-through because you can see the spider web through it.
But I thought that's just because it's a mirror.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, this is just the cobwebs on top of the mirror.
Okay.
Like, can we just give this a D or like an F? Literally, it's about him being. Nope, his hand is not invisible. Am I right?
No.
Am I missing something?
If there is something that we're supposed to pick up on to signal that his hand has become see-through, because the business with the spider web is quite ambiguous.
Yeah.
It doesn't communicate what it's trying to communicate very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rank this one pretty low. In this book, little Cogbert has moved into a new house with his family, and he goes into the attic, where he's told not to go into the attic, and the running theme here. And he finds this mirror that turns him invisible, and then when
It doesn't actually.
it gradually turns him invisible,
Oh, you know what would actually
and
be a
then
cool
people can't see him, and they keep bumping into him.
You know what would actually be a cool story? It makes him think he's invisible, but he's not actually invisible.
So he gets nude.
Yeah, so the twist of the story is
Everyone can see all the embarrassing
the
shit.
the spell from the mirror wears off, and he realizes he's just running in public naked. And he's like, "Wait, I'm not actually invisible. I've been naked this whole time." And that's the horror.
But wouldn't people have repeatedly said to him, "Hey, dipshit, you're quite visible. I see you." Wouldn't he be like, "Oh, they can't"?
No,
see
because
me.
it clouds his judgment.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like in the Sixth Sense, how
It's like
he can't figure out he's a ghost, even
Yeah.
though he keeps seeing clues.
Or
Spoilers. I'm sorry.
Have you seen the movie Oculus? Have you heard of it?
I've heard it's quite
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's about a evil demonic mirror that makes the people around it hallucinate. It's like that, but for children's horror, so it's comedic
Okay.
and also lighthearted. You know what I mean?
because the only real horror is, oh no, I've embarrassed myself terribly.
Yeah. Okay, so this is F tier, definitely F tier.
I think so. If anything's going to be F tier.
Yeah, it's gonna be this. He's not even invisible. He's looking at his fully visible hand.
His legs are starting to turn invisible, but he's not looking at them.
Yeah. It's so stupid. stupid. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Ooh, okay.
Oh yeah, classic here.
Classic,
Night of the
yeah.
Living Dummy. So this is a great dummy design, but very basic angle. It's just his face, but I do like the use of shadows.
Yeah.
And having a ventriloquist dummy as a villain was not a cliche at that point, the way having a mummy was.
Yeah. I don't like that there's no background, though.
Yeah, it's just a gradient.
Yeah.
Like you commissioned a drawing of your character but didn't pay extra for a background.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very, like, basic, like, what does the assignment calls for? Here's the bare minimum, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it works. It is a good drawing
It's
of...
a very good creepy dummy.
It reminds me of the White House portrait of Obama. I don't know if you saw the unveil.
Oh, the new one? Not the one with the flowers?
Yeah, it's just him with a white background.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. It's just like, it's a really good drawing of, you know, a dummy. And it's just like, it's a really good drawing of Obama. But it's just like, without the background, it's kind of like missing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Where would you put this? I put it as C, honestly. Like
I
this,
think so.
Yeah, like the story is a classic, but like the cover. Okay, so we agree. It's
Oh, what's the tagline?
Oh yeah, that's right. He walks, he stalks.
That's kind of lame.
That is kind of lame. It's just like a rhyme.
All right, so in this book, I believe the dummy's name is Slappy. That I do know. So in this book, little Eggwill has just moved into a new house with his family, and he's told to stay out of the attic, and he goes up into the attic anyway. It turns out the house used to belong to an evil ventriloquist who was a serial killer, and when he died, his ghost went into his dummy, and that's Slappy, and now they have to fight Slappy, and he, at the end, traps Slappy in his back in his little dummy case and throws him into a river thinking that'll be the end of it. But then at the very end of the book, like, the dummy case washes up downstream somewhere and someone finds it, and it ends on a cliffhanger in time for Night of the Dummy Part 2.
Cool.
The Girl Who Cried Monster. She got the monster of all problems.
Okay, automatically that tagline drags us down.
That's a very bad tagline. The art itself is... I'm not sure how I feel about it. I really like the use of color, the purple background and the green of the bugs and the visor that this person is wearing.
Yeah. I don't like the human faces. Like, this one's like, I don't know, it just has a weird uncanny valley quality.
I think
to it.
that's the point, though. Like, this
Yeah,
person
but-
is creepy and eating bugs out of a jar.
But like, even the, I don't know.
It doesn't really grab the attention. It leaves me a little bit confused and wondering what's going on without
making me want to like read it and
it's just
find
like,
out.
oh, what's going on?
Like, what is he just like feeding a fly to his pet turtle? That's not
Oh,
particularly.
that is a turtle.
Yeah, like that's not like.
Yeah.
Like he took a fly from here and he's.
Oh, I thought that was more bugs and he was going to eat it, but no, he's just feeding his turtle, and she's like, "Oh no!
I mean,
this man is feeding a turtle." Ah.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Like, are we gonna judge? Like, by the way, like he's just like a guy. Like I don't know. Maybe he's not. He's kind of like overweight.
His eyes have some kind of dark circles
Yeah,
around them, but like
I don't know. He's not like a monster or anything.
no, I don't understand. It's not the lighting, and the color, which I just praised a second ago, really build up the idea that something terrifying is happening, but it's not.
It's not. It's just a guy. Like,
And the look on her face, like, oh my god.
yeah, like there's nothing particularly scary about this. It's just like a guy who's like kind of big, kind of old. He's not even particularly like
A little bit weird looking.
Yeah.
But anyone who owns a turtle is a little bit weird. But like, whatever, man.
yeah. You know, I'd say D for this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly scary other than the lighting. I'd say. Also, terrible tagline.
Yes.
Also, wait, hold on a second. But here's the thing, though. Okay, maybe I'll do the one who guesses what the plot is this time.
Okay.
The Girl Who Cried Monster. Is it just about a girl who's like prejudiced towards like
there's a
overweight people and cried monster because
Yeah.
she thinks this guy's a monster, but really he's just like this slightly weird looking guy
Yeah,
feeding
I think
his
he's
pet
her
turtle.
school librarian.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of an oddball, and she thinks he's a monster, but he's actually a good guy. Maybe he saves her from the real bad guy. It's just like a Boo Radley situation. He's actually like perfectly harmless and just slightly odd.
By the way, I can't believe like To Kill a Mockingbird is about a white person who survived. Anyways,
It's very white savior-y, except that they don't even successfully save poor Tom.
yeah. You know what? I let's go D. Like I'd say because I don't know if like that's probably not the plot of that.
She's just moved into a new town and a new house, and she goes to school. This one's at school, not the attic. Or maybe that's her dad.
Yeah, why would he be shocked at? Why would she be shocked
Oh
at
no,
her
Dad has a turtle.
Oh no, Dad is feeding
think-
bugs to a turtle.
Yeah, I think that's the school librarian.
Yeah.
It's-
And just like the boy who cried wolf, the third time, and a real monster
Yeah.
comes, and no one believes her. They just think she's being like prejudiced. They just think she's body shaming, but then it eats them.
Yep.
Okay,
Real monster.
next one.
Welcome to Camp Nightmare. It's
Welcome.
the little camp of horrors. That's a terrible tagline. But I do like the.
Whoa, I don't know why it zoomed in that much, but
I do like the cover though.
yeah, it's a pretty good cover.
Like you can't really see what the monster is that well.
Yeah.
Like maybe some kind of bug.
By the way, I know the twist in this. I'm not going to say what it is because if you haven't read any Goosebumps, read this book. The twist is bonkers. But yeah, so
I like this one. I'm inclined to give
Yeah.
it an A.
yeah, I'd give it an A.
I like the scary trees. I like the eerie sky. It's
What drags it down for me is it's the little camp of horrors, which
Yeah,
is just the
that's
little shop
garbage.
of horror. You know, it's just like it's just plagiarizing like a well-known. You know what I mean?
take this is a huge problem in earlier paperback literature as well, and in low budget horror movies of today. Just take a common phrase and then either turn a word into murder or death, or just turn a word into something that is more specific to your story.
Yeah.
Like, along came a serial killer. It's like, it's already scary. This is a spider. Spiders are scary already.
What do you think's the plot?
All right, in this book,
Like, I'll tell you right now, whatever you think it is, it's not the plot. But you tell me what you think the plot is.
Jeffrey and Beffrey are twin brothers who go to Camp Nightmare, and they're really excited to go at first, but then they get there, and it's kind of scary and weird, and they make a few friends, but it's kind of weird. And let's see, there's some older kids who tell them like a local ghost story about this whatever that is. It's like a turtle man who comes up out of the pond and will tear at your mosquito net and eat you in the night. And the monster does turn out to be real, and it eats the older kid who told them the story. But Jeffrey and Beffrey track it to its lair, and they cut it open, and the older kids come out, and they're actually okay. They haven't been digested. They're just covered in slime. And everyone laughs. Freeze frame, roll credits.
Cool. I do like the implication that it's mosquito netting, so like it's a little camp of horrors is there are mosquitoes with malaria or something, you know what I mean? It's like, or maybe that's what like it's doing. It's like it's allowing the
What if the mosquitoes are the real danger and this guy
Yeah,
is
what
just
if-
helping them out?
it's just you read the book and it's just about mosquitoes are killing a lot of people in Africa every year.
Yeah.
This is a serious problem. We need to donate mosquito nets. By the way, that is not what the plot is about. You're not gonna guess what the plot of this book is
Are you
about.
going to tell me? Or?
No.
All right.
No.
Then I will cling to my story about a man-eating turtle with human hands.
It's weirder than that. Okay, well, where are we putting this?
B?
B? Yeah.
It's a really good image, but it is held back by the tagline. It's very atmospheric. I love the lurid colors. Mm-hmm. The ghost next door. There's a strange new kid on the block.
See, this is what invisibility is.
Yeah.
Take notes. The other
Exact same artist, probably. I do want to note that the ghost and the person answering the door
Same.
have the same pants and shoes, like rolled up cuffs and
He
everything.
couldn't be bothered to like make a new character model.
I think that maybe this person is meeting their own ghost.
Oh, in which case this tagline is wrong. There's not a strange new kid on the block. It's a kid that's already
The
there.
narrator is the strange new kid. That's the main character, and his name is Tolliger. And Tolliger and his family have just moved into a new house, and everyone thinks he's strange, and he is kind of strange. And he notices that in the house next door, in the house he thought was empty, is living his own ghost.
Oh, that's a great plot, actually.
And, well, not living, but
Yeah.
is residing his own ghost. And it turns out that there's like a time travel thing going on, where his ghost traveled back in time from the future to warn him about an airplane engine falling through his route. No, that's been done. About I don't know,
something
something that's going to kill him, and the ghost gives him a cryptic warning, and he doesn't know what it means at first, but at the climax of the book, he figures it out just in time and leaps out of the way of the oncoming train full of toxic waste.
Cool.
And then the ghost vanishes because in this timeline he lived, so he doesn't have a ghost.
So where are we putting this? I think it loses points for the reusing of the character model, honestly.
Unless that's the point.
But
it's not that scary, though.
Yeah.
It's just like, I have to wonder, because I can't see the face, the person who's answering the door, are they scared of this ghost? Are they happy to see this ghost?
yeah.
Do they shop at the same stores?
What if instead it was like looking through a peephole and you see like a ghostly image to that? That could be like... I don't know. I'd put this a C, maybe even a D, like low.
Yeah. I'm inclined to... Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not that interesting to me.
Yeah.
I guess I'd give it probably a C.
Yeah, I think C. Like, it's not like offensively bad as like,
Yeah.
you know, the fucking invisible one. Where is it?
No, look, it's the exact same kid.
Yeah, I know. It's the same shoes. This guy only knows to draw
He likes
one.
drawing red chucks.
Okay, it
And
is.
rolled up blue jeans.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
that was how everyone dressed in the 90s. I don't remember that well.
yeah. Like, you know, it's not like offensive to like
Yeah.
fat people like this one or to anyone with logic as this one.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Ooh,
The Haunted
this
Mask.
is definitely like the most famous
Yeah.
story. But it's like the same problem as the dummy one, where it's just kind of like...
There's no background. It's just this purple gradient.
Yeah, it's just exactly the bare minimum.
But the image,
Yeah.
I think, is quite striking. It's a kid, a symbol of innocence, whose face is obscured by this horrible mask, and it's got us wondering, like, oh no, the mask is probably like alive. It's going to possess the kid and make I guess her, because she's got like a top ponytail and
Yeah.
she's got the like
Yeah,
Punky
it's a
Brewster
girl,
overalls thing. This little girl's going to commit like awful murders that this mask's making her do, and she will like live with the guilt of that forever.
Is that your plot?
Yeah,
that's
so
your plot.
Jennifer has moved into a new street with her family, and she goes up into the attic and she finds the haunted mask. And she's like, oh, this would be a great thing to wear for Halloween, because it's Halloween's coming up. And she wears the mask, and the mask takes over her will. Oh, and maybe earlier in the story, she's heard all these like ghost stories about the person who lived there before her.
Yeah.
And all sorts of sinister happenings there, and they were probably also possessed by the mask. And we never really find out where the mask comes from, or like why it is the way it is. But on Halloween night, she's going around, and everyone's just like, "Oh, hello." What did I say her name was?
I don't know.
Hello, Jelliker. And they think like, oh, she's just wearing a scary mask, but then like she's killing them. She's like stabbing
Yeah.
people to death when they're just trying to give her candy. And there's a murderer on the loose, but no one realizes anything's wrong because they see a monster and they're just like, oh, it's just her costume.
Cool. That's... I think... So, I think, pretty sure in the book, she just gets it from a Halloween shop. I'm noticing a theme in your plot summaries, Danny, where it's like, it's always about someone moving to a new house, which makes me wonder, like, did you like move around a lot? Was that like a big source of anxiety?
Never
for you?
in my life.
No? Okay.
Not as a kid anyway. But I know a lot of kid-friendly horror stories start that way.
Like you know, in the classic horror movie Inside Out.
Troll 2. Coraline.
I do want to point out, I'm just noticing now for the first time in my whole life that the mask is drooling.
Yeah, that's eerie.
Yeah, which is a really good detail. I like that. Because it implies that the mask is like a living, breathing creature that she's about to put on her face.
Tells us right off the bat, this is not just a scary mask. There is something going on here.
Yeah. I would put this in an A.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, you know, I said the whole background thing for the dummy one.
that
but
holds
like,
it back from an S.
yeah, but the thing is, even then it's like, because the dummy thing is just the dummy. But this is like a good, like I said with the previous ones, a good combination of like something scary intruding into a place of innocence. You know what I mean?
And something is happening. The dummy isn't just
Yeah.
looking at you. She's putting a mask on her face.
It's like, oh no, she's in danger now.
Yeah, she is danger now,
Yeah.
too.
Also
Both of these are true.
God, this book was so creepy as a kid. Okay, moving on. Oh geez, what the fuck is... I don't even...
Be careful what you wish for. It might
gonna-
come true.
I'm gonna close some of these.
Yeah, okay.
This is
Lame. Very
lame. Very badly rendered, too.
Yeah, the girl's face seems off, and
Yeah.
not in a scary way, just like it's out of focus. And all that's happening is like fortune telling is happening, and be careful what you wish for; it might come true. Is such a cliche.
Yeah, I do like how it's sort of they lead into each other though.
Yeah,
but
they,
other than
they
that,
don't. It says it might come true. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, but this is bigger, so you see it first.
I guess.
So like aesthetic, like in terms of graphic design, I think it still works, but the art is just not. It doesn't look like it's the same artist. First of all.
Yeah.
Also,
it looks like a first draft. Like it just needs more detail on the hands and stuff.
Also, I don't really see how it connects to the premise because fortune telling isn't the same as granting wishes.
You're right. It's not.
So I don't. Right? So what's the.
So in this story, Egifer has gone to her fortune teller that she has. She is having her fortune read, but she has a specific wish in mind. And here it is. She bribes the fortune teller because she believes that what the fortune teller says is gonna come true. Mm-hmm. So she bribes the fortune teller to say, "Make this thing happen," by saying it's gonna happen.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, that's what she thinks anyway. And it's a fortune telling event that's happening at her school for Halloween, and it's gonna be in front of everyone, and she wants to impress everyone with her cool fortune, and it makes everyone actually stop liking her. They become jealous. And the boy she had a crush on and was trying to impress, he hates her now because he feels like the cool new life she has predicted will not give her time to hang out. And he kind of did like her before, but now he doesn't because he thinks that she thinks she's too good for everybody. Mm-hmm. And at the end, she's become completely socially ostracized from everyone. But then it turns out it was all just a dream. Mm-hmm. And she wakes up and she goes to school and she has a nice conversation with this boy. But then the fortune teller shows up and it's like, oh no, is this all going to happen again? Are we caught in a loop?
But then it turns out she's just the supply teacher or something. Like
I think we end right there on this ambiguous note.
Okay. So this grown-ass woman just shows up.
Yeah, because she's coming to school to tell fortunes for like a fun Halloween thing.
Yeah. By the way, the real scary thing about this is that she's being scammed because fortune telling is not real.
That is also true.
Anyway, so I'd say F for this. Honestly, I really just this art itself is just not good.
The premise isn't that interesting, and the art looks rushed.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like it's like rendered fully,
and it doesn't make me want to know more about this story.
Yeah, so let's do F, our second F.
Piano lessons can be murder. Play it again, hands.
That's hilarious. Sorry, can I just say, play it again, hands?
But that's not the line from Casablanca.
I know, but
he doesn't say again. He says, "Play it, Sam."
Yeah, but that's what people think. I like that though. Also, it's not like he says like hands in the Casablanca either. But okay, but confusing. Listen, I kind of really like this piano lessons can be murder because like as someone who was like forced to take piano lessons, I really like empathize with that. Also, like look at that piano.
It's at such like a weird angle. It looks like it's on a kind of
distorting lens, dreamlike, but also like it's a really good texture of the piano. It looks like
it's very shiny,
a real piano. I really like this one. Like in my opinion, this is like an A. But what do you
good.
think?
It does make me wonder what's going on, but not in a way that just makes me go like, I don't even know. Yeah. But in a way that's like, ooh, I want to know more. Now that you mention it, yes.
I haven't seen Twin Peaks, but does this have this? It feels Twin Peaksy to me. You know what I mean? Like the red background, at least.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely the red background. And in this case, I can give it permission for being a gradient because A, it's dreamlike, and B, that could be a carpet.
Yeah.
We're at
it could be a curtain too.
There's some very weird angles going on with the way the keyboard seems to like loop back on itself, like we're looking at everything through a fisheye lens.
Yeah.
So in this book, little Roger has been signed up for piano lessons, and the piano teacher is very strict, and he doesn't really like her, and he feels like he's not getting results. And then there's another kid at his school who says that this kid's name is Grodd, and Grodd knows like magic tricks, and Grodd teaches him a little like ritual he can do in like child folk magic of the like, you know, look in the mirror and say Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Bury a nail at the crossroads at midnight variety, so it enchants his hands, so now he can play the piano really well. And he has a nightmare at one point where his hands, and it works, and his hands are playing the piano really well of their own accord, like he's not doing anything. And he has a nightmare where his hands come off and just live a life without him. And then he gets so scared that he's trying to figure out how to end the spell because he doesn't like it. He realizes it's not worth it, and it's very hard because every step of the way his hands are trying to stop him, and because they like this agency they have. Mm-hmm. But at the end, he's able to break the spell, and he's not good at playing the piano, but at least it's really him trying to play, and he's slowly making progress.
Cool. I like that it has like a moral in the end.
Yeah. What do you think, A?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A. Yeah.
All right, what's next? Ooh. The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, who's afraid of the big bad wolf.
I like the specificity of the title.
Yeah.
Werewolf of Fever Swamp.
It sounds like an old legend or something.
Yeah, and I like Who's Afraid of Big Bad Wolf. That's like, you know, relevant to the thing.
Yeah, I like the eerie purple sky and green of the swamp itself.
Very, you know how they say like secondary colors are evil, primary colors are good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Goosebumps is Exhibit A for that, I think. Purple and green, you know, Joker colors, it's very like, ugh.
What do you think of the fact that the wolf is just a wolf?
I'm okay with that because there's a pile of clothes next to the wolf that tells us right away, like, this was probably a kid a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Mm-hmm. I don't have a specific story in mind for this if we're trying to save time, but this is definitely a story about a kid who becomes a werewolf.
Cool. Do you have like a quick summary of a story? Like,
So there's like a legend about the swamp that if you drink swamp water from it, you'll turn into a werewolf. And there was a werewolf like a few hundred years ago in maybe like colonial times, in Civil War times, because we're clearly somewhere southern. Look at those trees.
Right.
And
please bring slavery into this. Please make this a metaphor for slavery.
Oh God, I can't think of a way.
The horrors of slavery
is in good taste. So little Tuffrey falls into the water. He's being bullied, and some bullies make him drink swamp water, and they're teasing him because they think like, oh, you stupid Tuffrey knows he believes in these old legends, but it's true. And he turns into a werewolf, and he kills these other kids. And then he dies in a hail of gunfire.
Yeah.
From the sheriff.
And then the ghost of...
And the sheriff is his uncle who loves him.
Yeah. And the ghost of Frederick Douglass comes and is... Anyways. So what do you say for this one?
I like it. I'm going to give it an A.
Cool.
It tells you everything you need to know. And then it leaves you wondering, like, okay, now where can it go from there? And it's really visually very striking with the purple and green. Ooh, I like this one. Mm-hmm. You can't scare me. They're coming for you. So in this book, a kid is definitely trying to scare another kid by making up these mud monsters. And then it turns out they're real.
Oh my God, Danny. You got the actual answer.
Okay.
So listen, the whole story is about like two kids or something trying to prank each other to scare each other. And then one of them, like at the end, it's like, with like some like, one of them like sees some mud monsters and it's like, oh, it's just them. And later they're like, oh, you tried to scare me with those mud monsters? That was so lame. And he was like, what? No,
wait, the other kid already knows they're real?
No. He doesn't know. So he's just like, what? No, those monsters weren't me. What the fuck are you talking about? So it's like one of those things that's like, the twist is that the mud monsters are actually real.
So kid A thought they were a prank being played on him by kid B to scare him.
But then later,
but they were actually real.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the plot.
All right, that's cool. And I think that the fact that I more or less got it, I think is a testament to the quality of the cover and the
definitely.
title and everything. Like, yeah, it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I like the eerie orangish reddish lighting. Looks very apocalyptic, very sinister.
Where do you want to put it?
A.
Okay, well, we're these are some good covers we're going through.
I think that some of them are very good, and I'm all right with being generous because there's a lot of shit that we'll get to later on.
I think like the whatever 93, 94 might be the golden age of Goosebumps covers.
Yeah.
Welcome to Horrorland.
This one's fine.
So I don't
One day at Horrorland.
I don't like that there's Horrorland here and Horrorland here. It seems kind of like like if this said something like this, I don't know, like just as an example, the scary amusement park, and then welcome to Horrorland, so it's not repeating itself.
Yeah, and then it's got a tagline here: "Enter if you dare," and then again, "Where nightmares come to life."
But what I will say is, I like the ambiguity of this, where it's like, is that part of the sign, or is that an actual monster peeking over the thing?
I think it's probably part of the sign, but you never know. Yeah. It's about a cursed amusement park.
The correct answer is yes, but it's stupider than that. But anyways, where would you put this? I'd say B.
B, maybe C.
The eyes here are kind of creepy.
Yeah, they are. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's give it a B.
Yeah, I'd give it a B.
Why I'm Afraid of Bees. Terrible cover.
Terrible cover. Oh my god.
Human being.
F?
Yeah.
Can I give this an F? Automatically? Like, nothing about this is
help
scary.
Me! Help me!
Like, okay, how can we make this scary? What if, like, and he's a human bee, but he's like, like trapped in a spider's web or something? Like some sort of element of danger?
Help me.
Yeah.
It's just the 1958 version of The Fly, though.
Except I know.
With a bee instead of a fly. So maybe he's probably trying to get back into his human body. There's been some mix-up with putting his head on a fly's body, or a bee's body, assuming that this even has any kind of literal connection to the story, and it isn't just a story about bees.
How hilarious would it be if you read it and it's like, it's fucking based on like the David Cronenberg Fly, where he's like, he's turning into like, he's like his jaw's falling off, and at the end he's like, kill me, and he's like a little
shotgun to his head.
He's just like the most gruesome like Goosebumps story ever, but no one reads it. No one's ever read this book because the cover art is too stupid.
Yeah, this one is. I don't know if I'd give it an F. I think I'm going to give it a D.
Okay.
Because the premise is just silly.
Yeah.
And it's something I've already seen a horror movie do that I feel like isn't enough of like an elemental scene, like a mummy waking up. Like I've seen that in horror movies, but it's such like a primal scene that when you see it happen, not primal scene, but you see it happening, you're like, ooh, this is some shit's going on. This is just like it's just The Fly.
Yeah. Or
but a B.
It could also, well, I mean,
I know what the movie's about.
But also reminds me of like that other horror movie, with the famous quote, from the monster, do you like jazz?
The bee cannot fly according to all known.
Exactly.
So this is a book where a bee is suing humanity for all the honey, and he falls in love with Renee Zellweger.
Which is also, by the way, just while we're on the topic, if you're a bee, I feel like that's like a mutual beneficial relationship, right? Because the humans create like hives for you basically, and then they take your excess honey. You still have enough honey. Yeah,
and they build the structure for you, and they keep bears and badgers and things away from bothering your hive, and they give you plenty of flowers to pollinate.
Yeah. Anyways, which is in fact the theme of.
Maybe it's a book about a guy who is the son of a slave, and he paints a painting.
Okay, don't spoil Candyman. He's talking about Candyman. We're gonna watch Candyman later.
There's bees everywhere, and he's made out of bees.
Yeah. So let's go.
Jimmy hasn't seen Candyman yet. We're gonna watch it.
I saw the reboot, which was pretty good.
It is pretty good. I like the original better.
I do feel like it must have spoiled the original for me.
Yes, very much. Monster of Blood 2. He's one hungry hamster. This has got another kind of a fisheye lens going with the angles on the ceiling.
I like that it's a recognizable, school classroom with
the letters.
But everything's kind of curved weirdly, so it's kind of dreamlike and nightmarish.
Yeah, it creates that. And just the idea of oh no, a cute hamster, the classroom's cute pet hamster has been affected by the monster blood, and now he is a monster, and his blood is monstrous blood. Yeah. I will deduct points for the tagline, he's one hungry hamster. No shit. That's just reiterating what we can see from the image.
You know, like, oh, it's a hungry yeah, like
Yeah, but I think it's still pretty good.
yeah,
And it puts it's not just the monster's face head on, it puts him in a scene and tells you just enough about the story to make you go like, ooh, I wonder how the monster blood got to him. I wonder what he's going to do next.
yeah. Do you have a guess for what the plot is?
Yeah, so Little Todgifer has
No, it has to be a sequel to your original plot for Monster Blood 1.
Okay,
With the same characters.
Same characters?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the Monster Blood itself was the only recurring character.
I don't know.
All right. I think this is a different set of characters.
Okay.
But it's the same Monster Blood, and they thought they had frozen it, but somehow it winds up in like a piece of the Monster Blood escapes being frozen, actually, and somehow it winds up in a ditch culvert of a house, and Little Todgifer and his family have just moved into that house, and he's going to school, and he scoops up the schmutz, the Monster Blood, and he's been put in charge of feeding the school hamster that week, because it's an alternating schedule thing. And he feeds the hamster the schmutz from his ditch culvert for some reason, and that turns the hamster into a horrible monster who goes on a rampage.
And then they have to kill it, and it's very sad at the end when he's like holding a gun, and his gun's like quivering, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Snuffles.
It's the end of Old Yeller.
Yeah, it's the end of all the other. It's like, you know, you can't be allowed to live because you're too dangerous. Oh my god, sorry, I'm making myself sad.
Aw.
Anyways,
I've never seen Old Yeller, but I know it's very sad.
So where do we want to put it?
I
Especially
give
compared to.
I give it a B.
Okay, so the same as the other one.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Okay.
Deep trouble. Just when you thought it was safe. See, that's a problem right there, because that is just a shortened version of the tagline for Jaws 2.
Oh my god, you're right.
Just
It's literally just the tagline with a few words.
and it's a
taken away.
different kind of shark,
Yeah.
but the shark is just going to eat this kid.
I do like the painting.
Yeah, but it's
I believe-
very unoriginal.
I've heard somewhere that this story is not actually about a killer shark. It's about like a mermaid or
Yeah,
something.
okay, that's the one I was gonna.
But
This is the one I was talking about. Like, literally pissed off everyone in my class because they'd read it. And it's like, what? This has nothing. Like, there's barely a shark in it. It's all about a mermaid. Although I must say, the story is actually pretty. It's not scary at all, but it's about them trying to like protect a mermaid from the government agents, which is
the
actually
premise
a
to
pretty
one of my
compelling story.
favorite movies ever made, except it's a merman in that.
Which one?
Shape of Water.
Right. Well, no one fucks the mermaid.
Well, no, it's a children's novel, but I bet they form strong emotional bond with the mermaid, though.
Yeah. But anyways, what'd you say for this one?
See? Like, it is a good
Yeah.
painting of a kid in danger from a hammerhead shark. It's just kind of basic, and
And plagiarism.
the tagline is,
Plagiarism.
it's just Jaws 2,
Yeah.
and Deep Trouble. Okay, hilarious. Deep water.
Yeah.
Great.
And let's not guess what the plot is because you already know what the plot is.
I do, I'm afraid.
But let's go at this one.
I like this one. The Scarecrow walks at midnight. It's a field of screams!
Wait, what's this a parody of?
It's the movie Field of Dreams.
Oh my god. Okay, that's pretty clever.
Yeah, I like that, actually. It's cheesy. No, it's not cheesy. It's corny. Because he's a scarecrow.
But I like the painting. The sky is good.
Yeah.
I like the way the light shines on all the stalks around him.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be better if he was walking? But no, here's the thing though. This isn't
He's
midnight.
He's
Because-
going to walk soon.
Because the moon would be higher if it was midnight.
It would.
Right? Interesting attention to detail.
So this is a warning that at midnight this scarecrow will walk, and his eyes have already lit up. That's weird.
Yeah.
So we're on a farm, and there's a scarecrow that scares the kid protagonist, whose name is Toffler, and Toffler's family have just bought the farm, so to speak. they've just moved on to this farm, and he's not used to living on a farm, and the scarecrow freaks him out a little bit, and the neighbors are telling him like scary stories about like, oh, the people who lived on the farm before you, they sold that place in a hurry, something scared them. But it turns out that the scarecrow is actually good, and they become the best of friends.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of because like the scarecrow turning out to be good does sound like something that would happen in a Goosebumps book.
Well, a monster turning out to be good is kind of a stock twist, but I rarely see that done with scary scarecrows. If
Well-
there's plenty of scarecrows that aren't evil, but they don't look scary usually.
Well, I mean, what about Batman?
He was evil.
No, at the end he was like he became an upstanding judge, right?
Scarecrow?
Yeah.
Um,
You know, like he worked his way into the justice system rather than continuing his life of crime. Anyways,
okay. That's
So
an interpretation. I
You're
give
okay.
this one an A.
sure. Yeah, I really like this. I really like the setting and the sky.
Yeah, it's got a great sense of foreboding and menace. Like it's not happening yet, but it's gonna.
Go eat worms. Homework was never this gross before.
If it weren't for the fact that 3 of the worms have just punched a hole through the paper, it wouldn't be scary.
But the fact that they can just like brah right
Yeah.
out of there is a little ominous.
or
It's still not great.
Maybe they ate their way through, and that's a pre-existing hole from them nibbling through it over time. And
Maybe.
now 3 of them are just coming up, or it's one Ghidra worm.
Ooh, there's a thought.
But what bothers me is that these fucking math questions, like,
Haven't been answered?
no, I just hate math in general. Like, this long division. I have a cell phone now. No one.
No, I can't remember.
What about this? It says go eat worms. Would it be better if they were like on a plate?
Maybe.
I think that would be because like it forces you to imagine eating.
I did not realize you enjoyed eating worms, Nick.
Yeah.
Your spaghetti, your paschetti is now
Like,
made of worms.
yeah, like how much creepier would it be if this was like a plate of spaghetti with like worms hidden inside? And you see the
Yeah,
worms,
that
like,
would be. And they're threatening somebody's homework when, like, okay, when you're a kid, like, okay, homework is a source of anxiety. I get that, but to me right now, it's like, oh no, not my math.
Yeah.
What's this one about? A kid is assigned some homework, and he's mad, and he yells at the teacher. He has a temper tantrum, and he yells at the teacher like, you can go eat worms. And the teacher's like, you think I'm going to put a curse on your homework, and you'll see what's bad.
Oh, can I finish this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so the curse is that every time he does a math problem, if he gets a wrong answer, is the number of worms that appears in his vicinity.
Oh, I like
So then, okay, so like, you know, he writes, oh shoot, whatever, 300, and then 300 worms appear, and then so he has to learn to solve the problem. He has to learn how to divide. So he starts dividing the worms, and the worms start like getting cut in half.
But
and
when they divide, then you get more worms.
oh shoot, you're right. Okay, well that's the second act where you know he tries one thing and it doesn't work. Then he feels so the actual solution is I don't know. He learns like calculus. Or, I don't know. Just I've lost my train of thought here. But he does some sort of math stuff, and in the end is I learn. And then goes to the teacher like, I got all these questions right because of your teaching curse that made me.
Or he writes 0 for all of them, so there are 0 worms, and he fails the class, but at least the worms don't eat him.
Or he divides by 0, and all the worms like incinerate. And in the end, I didn't learn anything.
Yes, that's how it ends. I like that.
Anyways, that's for this. I'd give this like a D. There's nothing scary about this. Maybe even an F. Like there's nothing scary.
I wouldn't
about
give it
this.
an F because the worms are still eating through the paper. But yeah, D.
Yeah,
it's one of the weaker
it's like the
ones.
same level. Like these are like the ones that aren't scary at all. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing.
They're not
scary about these
bad.
ones.
They're just not scary.
Yeah.
Ghost Beach. No swimming, no surfing, no haunting. I do actually know what this one is about
I don't.
because there was an episode of the TV show that I've seen.
But I think like, first of all, why the fuck are there? Who builds a cemetery on a beach? What?
I
Like it's just the ghost element is overtaking.
I
the
don't
image
think-
over the beach element. You know? What I mean?
I think it's not supposed to be like a literal cemetery on the beach. I think they're getting a little overly literal.
Yeah,
but let's say
It's just
it's like pioneers or something who starved to death in a really bad winter and they died on the beach. I don't know.
And then, but it's just like it would be better if there was like a better, you know, like there's more beach with like a hint of ghost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
So that way it's like, it's like a familiar setting, but there's something scary lurking in it. Whereas here it's like, it's a fucking cemetery, a fucking graveyard with like a tiny little beach just randomly over
I
here.
still like it. It's not the best, but I think it's a sinister enough specter up there that it grabs your attention. And I feel like with cover art, there is not that much room for subtlety. You've got to reel people right in.
But we've seen like subtlety in like the other covers.
Yeah,
though.
it's not top tier, definitely.
Yeah,
but
I'd give it a C, honestly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Also, the tagline's awful. Like this is like it's not no haunting. Like what? That's a rule for the ghosts. Like shouldn't it be like no swimming, no surfing, no coming here after midnight? You know what I mean? Something like that. A rule for the humans so as to not be killed by the ghost. Something like that. Like I will say the art is really good.
It is.
But it's just like the idea behind it is.
And I like the oversized moon. And
Yeah. Where's that? Yeah, that's a moon.
I think it's the moon. Now this is a much better mummy image.
Yeah.
Because he's coming out of the coffin. Something's happening. He's not just there.
So can I just point out
The fumes.
Look how fucking smelly this guy is.
Oh yeah, he's a smelly
That's like
mummy.
millennia of farts. He's been farting in that enclosed space since like I don't know, since
At least the last book,
King
possibly
Tut.
longer.
Yeah, since mammoths roamed the earth, and he's just opening. He's like, and it's all coming out at once.
Oh, gross.
That's no. You don't need to guess a plot. That's the plot.
Yes.
that's the plot we're saying based on this.
But it's called Return of the Mummy, so it's got to be the same mummy from the last time. So he's only been farting for as many years as since. Yeah, because they brought him back to life in the last one. He couldn't fart while he was dead.
Yeah, that's true.
But then they seal him up
No.
again at the end of the first one, but he's not completely dead, so he's farting in there.
But the last one, he wasn't in a sarcophagus. He was
They
just
put him
outside.
in one at the end.
Okay, yeah, but like my point is, yeah, you're right.
And then he's in there farting
Yeah.
for like months and months and months.
for like what?
Maybe-
How many years? So like we have 94 and
Maybe he ate a lot of chili while he was
94 and 93. So like a year.
a year of farting.
But a year of farts is still a lot of
That's,
farts.
that's bad. We've decided that like it is definitely farts. It's not.
Yeah, this is
The
farts.
fumes are coming from behind him. It's not like coming off of his shoulder.
He's farting. He's a farting mummy.
This is all from his butt.
Yeah, this is the only way.
He's back
And-
from the dead.
Yeah, that's a weak tagline. Also, the way the wrapping comes off his arm there cannot help but suggest toilet paper. And at the end of this one, somebody grabs the wrapping while he's running and runs the other way with it, and he gets completely unraveled and he falls apart.
Yeah,
And that's why there is no third mummy book.
and then the smell just overwhelmed.
Eventually dissipates. They need to get a bunch of fans in.
Okay, so it doesn't be. Wait, yeah, I guess it would be above this one because it has more movement.
Yeah,
and also more.
He's coming because it's the same reason that Don't Go in the Basement was effective. It's not just showing us the monster; it's showing us the monster emerging from
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly.
Have you seen a movie called Possum?
No, is it horror?
Yeah, and the possum is not a possum; it's like this creepy spider puppet this guy makes.
Don't spoil it for
I'm
me,
not
but-
spoiling it, but there's a lot of nightmare scenes of like his spider puppet coming to life, and the scariest imagery is always like its legs crawling over the side of the bed or
Yeah.
out of its box or something like that. It's a very weird, upsetting movie.
Okay.
I do recommend it.
After
The Phantom of the Auditorium. He's out to stop the show for good.
I just want to point out: is this the first black guy on a Goosebumps cover?
Is he black?
Well, yeah, I mean, he looks pretty black.
Yeah, that could just be shading, but no,
Oh,
I think
it's
he is-
brown. Like
Yeah, I
his
guess
dark
he's,
skin,
He straightened his hair.
or he's wearing, or that's like part of the mask. you
Oh,
know?
that could be. It could be part of it.
So I don't know. I don't
It's just the Phantom of the Opera, but
Yeah,
in a
like-
school auditorium.
like honestly. If he wasn't black, this would just be the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, and honestly, you have to look closely to even see that his skin is dark.
Yeah, like this is just the Broadway Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, so in this, I'm guessing like, all right, it's about a girl named Christine, and she's in the school play, and he's like a teacher who disappeared years ago, and he's deformed, and he's lurking up in the flies of the auditorium, and he's like teaching her to sing her part, but it turns out he's crazy, and she needs to get help from her boyfriend Raoul and a foreign exchange student from Iran named Daroga who can rescue her.
I just want to say, Phantom of the Opera. I saw it in New York. You know, I think it's closing now or
It
closing
is.
soon.
Finally.
It's pretty sad.
After a long time.
It was okay. Me and my fiance had the same reaction. Where it's like, wow, that whole whole song where the Phantom introduced himself. You know what I mean? Easily the highlight, and all the other songs after that are just like downhill from there. So we were just like, wow, we just literally just need to hear that first. Anyways, I do like the tagline though. He's out to stop the show for good. He stopped Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one who canceled on Broadway.
Yeah. He murdered Andrew Lloyd Webber. He dropped the chandelier on him.
put Phantom of the Auditorium. We put it in D because it's not really scary at all.
Attack of the Mutant. Not scary.
Once again, not scary at all. It's a super.
He's no superhero. He's a super villain.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my god, super villains also being a thing? I had never thought of that concept.
Also, Attack of the Mutant. That's racist to mutants.
It sounds like a 50s movie, but a really uncreative one.
Yeah, it sounds like something that the
villains from X-Men.
the villain from
put out.
X-Men 2 would put out. Yeah. Not X-Men 1 because X-Men 1 the villain's Magneto. He
Yep.
would not do this.
The Brian Cox guy from the second one.
I don't know. I would put this D, same as the other ones. Like it's
Yeah.
not, maybe a bit above because there is like something visual. Maybe C because there is like a threat.
Yeah, and like again, decent use of color. Although the spaceship or whatever it is behind him is a little too gelatinous for my liking.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. It's just too shiny.
Yeah.
It looks like it's lit from within. It doesn't look like it belongs on the cover of a horror novel.
Exactly.
So
Where do we put it?
D.
D. Okay. I think it's towards the end. What the hell? Here it is. D. By the way, can we just talk about? Let me tell you. I have a complaint about this book.
Okay.
So, and by the way, if you recently read this book and I'm misremembering it, just let me know in the comments. But here's what I remember from this book, and I'm just telling you the whole plot, okay? So this guy, like, he really likes comic books, and he's like, oh, the Mutant, that's my favorite supervillain. He can shapeshift, but you always know it's him because he always wears the mask, right? So no matter what he shapeshifts into, he's always wearing the mask.
That's stupid.
Yeah. So then, by the end of the book, at some point, he makes friends with like this girl. It's revealed that the girl was the mutant the whole time, but
Wasn't wearing a mask.
like what the unless you're telling me that this girl was wearing a mask the whole time,
And the guy
and
was
you
like,
just
this seems normal.
yeah, this seems normal.
Also, supervillains normally have like really distinct, interesting costumes with like a theme or gimmick. He looks like someone drew a stock generic superhero. Think about your favorite supervillains. They'll be dressed as like a scary animal, or they'll have big spikities or something. They'll have something distinct about them. This guy, like, he's got a cowl, but nothing decorative about it. He's got a cape.
Yeah.
What is his bit? What's his gimmick?
I will say that this was in the 90s, so maybe this is just what superheroes and like oh my god, no, this is like a Rob, like he has pouches. Like Rob Liefeld.
His tiny feet are badly drawn.
This is literally a Rob Liefeld.
Right, I like it now.
You know what? Honestly,
It's a parody of Rob Liefeld.
honestly, let's move this up to a C.
Move it up to a C.
I just reconfirm that Rob Liefeld.
Still doesn't belong on the cover of a horror novel.
Giant muscles. Like this is
probably gigantic muscles.
this is literally a Rob Liefeld like pastiche.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Okay, yeah, what is it? T. Jacobus. We see you.
Yeah.
We see what you're doing
Clever.
here.
You see what you did there?
Yeah.
It's clever. By Hairiest Adventure. So in this book,
Oh, sorry.
little
F?
Riley has learned to masturbate, and he's been warned that it'll make his palms hairy, and it comes true.
We're gonna do F, right? This is awful.
My Hairiest Adventure. It keeps growing and growing and growing.
This is-
I actually do know this real story, and the twist ending is even worse.
What is it?
It turned out that he was a dog.
Like the whole time he was.
Yes. And he thought he was people. And like his friends are disappearing, but that's because like they're going to the pound or something, and
Oh my god.
he's like friends with the other dogs. It turns out that they were just dogs.
Sorry. First of all, that's fucking adorable. I actually want to read this now.
A horror story from the perspective of a dog that just treats a dog's day-to-day life as sufficiently horrifying is a clever setup, at least.
But listen. We're not talking about the writing, but just the cover.
Yeah, the fact that he's in a bathroom, the fact that his hands are hairy, it cannot help but make me think of something that you should not write a children's book about.
Yeah.
Also, something about his sideburns and big ears make him look like a Planet of the Apes reject character.
Yeah. Wow.
Stuff to
Sorry.
say.
That is an amazing story. I need to find and read this.
It turned out he was a dog, and so were his
so
friends.
does he call his humans like mom and dad?
Yeah, because he thinks of them that way.
That's so cute.
I think I'm probably getting a few of the details wrong, but
Oh, and they leave him all the time, and he's always like, "Where did they go?" Wait, and it's just about how scary it is being a dog.
Yeah,
oh my god!
Because it's one of those stories like Carnival of Souls or something where there's like all these confusing, seemingly disparate events going on. He's like, "Oh, what could be the solution? What could be the explanation for all of them?" And the explanation is you're a dog, and these people are your owners. A night in Terror Tower. It's gonna be
an LONG night.
That's a bad tagline. If it just said it's gonna be a long night, I'd like that because it's simple. It's just gonna be like, oh, you're gonna have to flee this scary executioner all night because only in the morning do they unlock the gate and let you out. So, this is a story about Rebecca and Beffrey who they're on a school trip to Terror Tower.
Like it's just called Terror Tower.
Well, they're going to see whatever city Terror Tower is in, and they're going for a tour, and they like sneak away from the group for a bit of like child appropriate romantic interest. Nothing PG-13 rated. Just strictly, just a little bit of holding hands. But they get separated from the group and they get accidentally locked in the tower overnight. And then it turns out that there's this guy who's like, maybe he used to be a tour guide there and he's gone crazy and he's too into his character and he stalks the place at night with an axe and he's trying to cut their heads off. And they're able to hide from him all night when the gate opens up again and they can get out.
By the way, I'm pretty sure the actual plot involves, the two kids that Richard III killed.
Oh!
I'm pretty sure that's what this is.
Interesting.
Like they go on a field trip there or something. So I don't know if this is Richard III.
I've seen the very wall where those kids were dug out.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. It's just a bit too... Like, it's the same problem I have with, like, The Mummy, where it's just the scary thing and it's just the setting. It doesn't have the sort of...
At least he's in the setting, though. He's not...
You're right. Yeah, it's not like... like if this was like... You see a school bus in the background, and it's like, oh, it's a field trip to this thing, and the kids are walking straight into this man.
Yeah, we're just in this scary gothic castle where this guy looks like he belongs. Where if you saw that guy in your living room, you'd be like, ah.
Yeah. So,
B? C, maybe?
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I do C.
It doesn't quite have that immediacy. Yeah, C.
I do,
C's fine.
I do C. We're almost halfway there.
The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Keep your eye on the birdie.
This is one of my favorite stories. But what do you think of the cover?
The cover gives me very little to go on.
Yeah.
Which might be a good thing because the bird grabs my attention. It doesn't look scary. It just looks a little strange. And maybe this is a less obvious book where strange things are happening. Not all of them spooky, but all of them strange around this clock. And it's not something as simple as like a vampire or a mummy. It's something a little less obvious that this clock is doing.
I do want to point out that I'm just realizing now, why is the cuckoo coming out when it's like 5:05? Don't they come out when it's like
the hour?
On the hour or the half hour, right? Why?
And they tweet like, if it's 5 o'clock, he comes out 5 times. If it's 4 o'clock, he comes out 4 times.
So what the?
Maybe that's one of the odd things about it is that this clock, the cuckoo, comes out 6 minutes past the hour. Because his previous owner died 6 minutes past the
Cuckoo Clock of Doom. It'll tell you it's 5 when it's actually 5:06, so you'll be slightly late for work.
Inconsiderate.
Yeah, but you're right. Like I don't think it's that scary.
No, it's like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a little. It doesn't really grab my attention. It doesn't make me go ah.
I put it at I don't think D. I think C. I don't because D is like just absolutely not scary at all. But at least the bird is.
It's still got kind of an eerie quality because the bird looks so genuinely weird.
Yeah.
And that icy blue.
By the way, you know what the actual story's about?
What?
Time travel.
That makes sense. So I thought it might be something
so
like that.
I don't think this bird's even in it. It's just the kid like keeps going back in time to like and changing things slightly and going to back and like everything's different or something like that.
Huh.
And then I think it ends with by the way, spoilers. It ends with him being like, "Oh, I'm in a timeline where my annoying sister never existed. Oh, well, I'll probably go back and fix it. Probably." And it's just ambiguous as to whether or not he actually goes back and like makes his sister exist again.
I like that, actually. Yeah. Monster Blood 3.
I love the escalation, by the way.
Oh, he didn't roll. He rolled down his jeans this time.
It's always the same, like, jeans and sneakers.
Yeah. Red Chucks.
Yeah.
Evan's growing up way too fast.
I kind of like this. I like the tagline.
Yeah, it's
a nice, like, understated joke. I like that it's a familiar setting. With like something weird about it, kind of very like Renee Magritte-ish, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's like something's familiar. Two things are familiar, but they're like they combine in a weird way. You know what I mean? That's why that's the sort of like surrealism I like. I do feel like the blood itself kind of ruins it. It's just like one element too many.
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of like it's like such a small part of the thing, even though it's supposed
looks
to be.
like it was the last thing added to the painting.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we need blood on this.
You gotta have it. I think it would have been more effective if it were dripping off of his shoes.
Yeah.
Or down his pant leg.
Yeah.
Like it's inside his pants.
But I do like the implication.
Then it would look like he was peeing himself. So.
Yeah. Like, I think the implication is that he drank some of this.
Yeah.
But then that's too big a glass, so I don't.
It looks like a barrel of it.
Like, I don't know. it's...
So Evan gets huge in this one, and he stomps around a while, and then he has to fight King Kong.
It would have been funny if you were like, so this story about a guy called Tolfer.
Evan's not even in it. Yeah, they're always named, like, Toffler and Toward and things like that.
I'd give this a B.
Yeah, okay. All the Monster Blood books get B.
Yeah. They're all, like, equally... We're almost at the halfway point.
Ooh, this is a good one. It came from beneath the sink. It's warm, it's breathing, and it doesn't do dishes.
I like that. I like how it's like, it's scary because it leaves a mess.
Yeah, and you can just see its eyes, which are very threatening, but you can't see anything else about it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that the title is kind of a pastiche of It Came From Beneath the Sea and other movies of the 1950s. It Came From Outer Space is another.
Yeah. I like the idea that you can just, like, one day you're just, like, doing the dishes and maybe you want to check plumbing and you open the cupboard and there's just like a
thing down there.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah,
I give it an A.
The scariest monsters are the ones I think that have no explanation.
Yeah.
A sounds right. That's a really good one.
Right. Do you want to guess what it's about?
So little Toward and his sister Ronald have just moved into a new house with their parents, and there's a weird dish-related things are happening. Like the sink is weird, and like sometimes the water comes out wrong. And they look under the sink, they can't find anything, and Dad calls a plumber, but then the plumber vanishes, and it turns out that the creature is actually like in a panel behind the pipes.
Oh, that's an amazing plot twist.
So it isn't like super obvious, so they can, we can stretch a whole book out of this rather than just, I wonder what's wrong with the sink. A monster. Okay.
I love the M. Night Shyamalan twist of like, you thought it was under the sink, but really it was under a panel behind the sink. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, this is the only way I can hide it for that long.
Okay, we're finally at the halfway point. We're gonna have to
Night of the Living Dummy 2. All right. I like this one better than the other one because he's sitting on a bed now, and these other toys look horrified by him.
Look at this.
He's got those hippie daisies.
Oh my
on the
god! Yeah,
wall.
these like they look so scared.
Night of the Living Dummy 2.
I put this a B.
Yeah. All right. So in this one, Slappy comes back. He gets fished out of the river, and he goes on another rampage, and he kills a guy.
Yeah. I just want to point out the first Night of the Dummy. The bad guy isn't Slappy, even though he's on the cover.
Really?
It's someone else called Woody, I think. I don't know, something like that. But then at the very end,
you're my favorite deputy.
Yeah, I mean, it came out before Toy Story. Okay. But then the plot twist, the cliffhanger is Slappy suddenly talking too.
Oh, I see.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
So it's like Jason Voorhees coming out of the lake at the end.
And then becoming the icon of...
The Barking Ghost. See, I like
this one.
Ghost dogs.
Yeah.
And this one has such an odd, like, it's just his face head on, but he's making such a weird, snarly face, and his proportions seem slightly off.
Yeah, he has, like, a huge brain.
Yeah.
I think maybe the artist was, like, trying to take up space. He was like, oh, there's too much empty space here.
Yeah. Give him a huge forehead.
Huge forehead.
Bad dog. Really bad dog. Like, all right, that's not great, but I don't know. This one's all right.
I don't like that
It's got a good sense of menace.
They emphasize really and bad in two different ways. One's italicized, one's capitalized.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah, I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
Because it is scary. Like, if I saw this...
His glowing
like
red eyes.
cherry red eyes.
Yeah.
What do you think the plot is?
It's set in northern England.
Oh, because of the
Ghost.
ghost...
Ghost dog
what's
legends.
it called?
Black
dog?
Shuck is my favorite.
Yeah.
He's the most famous of them. In some versions, Black Shuck only has one eye in the middle of his forehead. And his eyes numbered but one and shone like the sun.
Right, because that's where the Hounds of Baskerville was inspired by, right?
That and legends like it, yeah. There's quite a few all over.
But
parts of England.
really, the fact is that England just has a lot of fog and also wild dogs roaming around.
Yeah.
And people are just like, oh, that must be a ghost dog.
It's just like a large dog.
Yeah. So, okay.
It's set in northern England, and there's like a scary ghost dog running around.
Yeah, sorry.
And I'm trying not to just make this the plot to Hound of the Baskervilles.
And then Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
Yeah. I already solved this case, Watson. And no, this is a real ghost. It's not just a mastiff that's been had phosphorus smeared on it in places. This is a real ghost, and it leads them to treasure, and they have to figure out what the ghost's goals are. So they have to find the ghost, the bones of this dog, from when it was alive in the Middle Ages. They have to find its bones and bury them with the bones of its master. Mm-hmm. They have to do a lot of like history. The horror at Camp Jellyjam. Tennis ping pong monsters, anyone?
Okay, terrible tagline. Terrible.
Confusing, very
terrible
confusing.
tagline. Yeah, because Monsters isn't a game. You know, if it was like,
not that I'm aware of.
So you know, if it was like I don't know, like trees, tents, monsters, anyone, like that would make more sense.
But you can't do monsters anyone. It could be like trees, fishing, cabins, monsters.
Or, you know, tennis, ping pong, murder, anyone, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be better. Cannibalism, anyone.
But cannibalism in a kid's book.
I do honestly find this very... Oh my god.
What?
Sorry, I swear to God, I looked at him twice. I thought his eyes moved. I thought... okay, yeah, no, S tier. Holy crap.
Yeah, because this one,
They follow...
the tagline is bad, and the picture is very simple, but
it's
everything about it, especially his face, just gives a sense that like something is wrong here. His pants are too high, the sky looks creepy, his mouth is all messed up. Like, yeah, he's that is an unsettling looking guy. And just Camp Jellyjam on its face just sound, and the he's wearing like this jammy purple. Just something about it already just makes me feel a little uneasy.
Yeah. Also, like, I swear to God, I thought his eyes were looking like away over here, and then I turned around and they were staring right at me.
Wouldn't that be an epic prank if this website rigged, like if this was an animated GIF we were looking at and they had like rigged it to do that? I do see what you mean though. I'm looking into his eyes and.
Geez, sorry, I actually need to catch my breath. Happy Halloween, everyone. Want to do A?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think it overcomes the...
Maybe even
terrible
S,
tagline.
honestly, because this is the only one that is genuinely... Ugh.
No, I think S has to be, like,
That's
perfect,
true.
because the
That's
tagline
true.
is...
The
brings
tagline
it
is
down.
wretched.
Yeah.
The Horror at Camp Jellyjam is a good, simple title. Tells you, like, something scary is going to happen at this camp. I'm guessing that the camp counselor is an ooze that's taken human form, and he turns into his true form at the end.
I think the plot involves, like, everyone's being fed to, like, a giant jellyfish or something like that.
Okay, that's
I
interesting.
don't remember exactly, but...
Oh, yeah, there's something really gross and nasty in the woods behind the camp.
Yeah.
Keep off their grass. Revenge of the lawn gnome. I kind of like it because it's silly. Like, it's about lawn gnomes.
But it's not scary. I'd put it with the other, like, the D's, because... I don't know.
I'm inclined to give it a C.
Okay.
Just for the balls of making lawn gnomes your villain.
Yeah. I guess they're kind of threatening.
They look like jerks. Like,
Yeah.
they have that, like, really mean little faces.
I like the implication that these could just be the mold for the lawn gnomes. Like, they're not even, like, moving. They're just posed like this.
We can't tell because it's a still image.
Yeah.
Are they monsters or are they just someone has weird lawn gnomes on
How
their
creepy
lawn?
would it be? Imagine this in a horror movie where it's like God, those fucking gnomes. And then the flamingos start walking. Like, the gnomes are just gnomes. But then the flamingos are the ones
I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened in the
Yeah.
book, because he loved to not deliver what the cover promised.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming they were made by, like, there was no communication between.
Quite
It
possibly.
was just like, hey, R.L. Stein and T. Jacobus, here's the title. Do what you want.
I'm Mr. Scholastic, and you will do
Yeah.
my bidding.
So we don't want to put it.
And our book will be
right?
poorly glued and fall apart.
Well, I mean, they lasted pretty long.
All the Scholastic books I had fell apart really quickly. They were.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
kind of a running motif in my family. We would specifically address that Scholastic books were not well bound. I always liked this one.
Yeah, I like it too. I like
It's-
the suburbs and then the giant horror and that.
Big old mantis.
Yeah,
It's a real dead end. That's a bad tagline.
not as bad as a shocker on Shock Street. Because
That is also.
I mean, the word shocker has
Yeah.
gotten new meanings, and he's also kind of doing it with his hands.
Oh no, he is.
Like,
This one will go in the stink. With its serrated edges.
now I know why. And then the female mantis bites his head off.
Yeah, that's how it
Because
ends.
That's how it ends.
Because he tries to do that to her, and she's not into that.
So she bites his head off. I wonder if that's how this book ends, with like just it finding a mate and then the mate just eating it. It's like, oh well, that solved that problem.
Maybe.
Except now the female mantis is pregnant.
Ooh,
a bunch of eggs.
and that's the what am I looking for? That's the ending, the open ending, the sequel hook.
Yeah, of fucking like Godzilla '98 or something.
Yeah, one of the
Um,
eggs survived
yeah.
and starred in the animated series.
Yeah, I'd give it a
B.
B. Yeah, just because there's something weird about the back. Like the sky isn't as good as like the Scarecrow one. You know, what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Like I've seen better skies.
Vivid,
in
but it's not
Goosebumps
that
covers.
scary.
Yeah, and it's like I get it's like sunset, but I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel like they could have bit more effort
Also,
into the sky.
Giant Mantis is more sci-fi imagery than horror.
Yeah.
Like, there is a movie called The Deadly Mantis from the 1950s. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, conveniently. So we're in B.
Very convenient. Yeah, B.
Same level as the
It's-
scary dog. where
It's
just,
far enough into the series that I'm willing to give a more sci-fi-ish imagery of a giant bug a bit more leniency, because, like, ooh, that's a good one.
Oh wait, hold on a second. What is the plot of this? Or did
Yeah.
we just no? We came. Or did
Yeah,
we,
it's
just come up with it? We came up
Female
with it.
mantis.
Yeah, yeah.
He's very rude mantis who watches a lot of, like,
Who's never had sex before?
old comedy
And
from,
got,
like,
like,
the
yeah.
2000s that doesn't age very
He got all
well.
his sex techniques from like porn and
Yeah.
old stand-up
Big
comedy.
into Dane Cook.
Um.
Quotes Borat too often, and everyone's like, it's the 90s, we don't even get that.
Yeah, it's the old nightmare.
New face, old nightmare. I really like this one because, in fact, I like it more than the first one because it's the kid wearing the mask, but now we see them trick-or-treating in red chucks and blue jeans.
Yeah, still the same shit.
And also the background behind him, the lamp and
Yeah.
the trees are very good autumnal imagery. And I like this. I think this is an S tier.
Yeah, I can see that. Wait, hold on a second. Before we put an S tier, good tagline. Well, the title is just on a S.
Yeah, it's a simple title, but
Where right. Cool. What do you think it's about? But it has to connect to what you thought. the
yeah,
previous
so
one
it's the
was
same mask from the first one.
about. Even though it's clearly not, but it's a new
yeah.
face.
It's maybe the mask morphs on its own every Halloween.
Oh,
it
okay.
takes a new shape, and another kid finds it, and a similar rampage happens. Of going around killing people on Halloween, and then the hero is another kid who is dressed as Ash from the Evil Dead movies and has to defeat this cursed mask and pry it off of his best friend's face.
Wait, why does it have to be Ash from?
So he can be like a horror hero.
Oh, you mean he's like Ash? He's not.
Yeah, he's dressed as Ash.
Because I was trying to think, what's the connection with
He's
Ash?
dressed as Ash from Evil Dead, but also he has to be like Ash and step up. And I mean,
Okay.
it could have been Von Helsing as well.
Yeah.
You know, the Headless Ghost. It's a cephalophore.
I mean,
Major headache. Boo.
it's kind of funny. Yeah.
All right, so this one is
I mean,
about.
he's not headless. He clearly has a head. It's just in his hand.
Yeah, he's carrying it. This is about some kids named Headward.
Ichabod Crane.
Headward and Hedwina, who have just moved into a house with their parents in Sleepy Hollow, New York. And there is a headless ghost in the attic, and it turns out it's their great-great-great-great-grandfather, and he's all right.
Cool, and he looks all right, too.
Yeah, he's handsome. Yeah. But because he died pretty young, but he fathered children pretty young, because, in those days. Also, his hand is weird. Look at it on the railing. Oh, jeez, that's right. Off. That's
So how did he die? Did he... I'm assuming...
He died in the Revolutionary War. He had his head cut off. And he...
Those damn redcoats.
Yep. And the ghost of the redcoat who killed him is the villain. And he's come to... I don't know, to kill this guy's descendants. And they have to team up with the headless ghost to save the day.
So the ghost of the redcoat is just like trying to get America back under British control.
Yeah, he's a filthy imperialist.
Okay.
He's also like really racist too. He says some really uncool things about like...
I mean, would it be more racist than a white guy who was in revolutionary times?
Good question.
My question is, it's kind of like a metaphor, cutting off the head. So like the body is like America and the head's like...
Oh.
I don't know. Anyways, where'd you put this?
B.
B.
Like, it's good.
Okay. I would put C, but I don't feel strongly enough about it, so where is it? Here it is.
The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. He's no fun in the sun.
So Pasadena, I'm assuming, is like a warm place.
Yeah, it's in California.
Yeah. I mean...
I think it's near LA, or it might be part of LA.
There's something weirdly stiff about this image.
Yeah, and Yetis aren't horror movie scary.
Yeah. I do like the contrast between, he's clearly defrosted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, I don't know, there's just something about the way he's ripping it off where I just feel like he could have been posed better. Like, the line of action I'm not seeing is particularly strong.
Yeah, it's not the best. And... Yeah. I don't know, the line is just too silly. Like, Abominable Snowman don't belong in Pasadena, but wow.
Yeah.
It's just a little too shticky for me.
Where'd you put it?
C.
Yeah, what do you think it's about?
Professor Jarvis has just returned from an expedition to Tibet with his, a Yeti he captured, but the Yeti gets, there's a mix-up with shipping it, and it ends up rampaging through Pasadena.
Cool.
How I got my shrunken head.
Heads up. That's okay.
Yeah, that one's all right. It's got that the red jux. It's got that juxtaposition of the innocent and the scary. I do want to point out that the pendant just says university. Oh boy, university. That's my favorite school.
Oh yeah, go red. Where did you go to? University. Oh, I went to U. Like just the letter U. U of.
Of what? And of here's your own spaceship. Of here's $1 million.
I do like that T. Jacobus is like carved into.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
I would like to point out this head is just a regular sized head.
Oh, that's true. Points off for that.
Yeah, points off for that. Like it's not like I don't get they wanted to see it, but it's just like it should be the size of this baseball, but no, it's the size of the baseball.
Yeah,
mitt, which is just the size of a regular head.
In a lot of 1950s horror comics would have ads where you could like write in and they'd mail you a shrunken head.
Yeah.
I don't know what they actually sent you. Surely not a real one.
But I do like the kind of story that this tells, where it's like, oh, you go into a guy's dorm.
Got...
Like imagine like you're a girl, because I'm pretty sure the main protagonist of this is a guy, but like, so
he's over at his friend's place.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at this fucking like.
Yeah, that's a boys.
Yeah, that's a boys thing, and then you're going to university. And then some guy picks you up and is like, hey, you want to come to my place? And he's cute, and you go, and then you just go, and you just see this this random fucking creepy ass green wrinkly head with a long ponytail just sitting on top of his textbooks next to his baseball mitt and his sock, just staring at you with his gigantic, not even dehydrated, just like swollen, fully hydrated eyeballs staring at you, and he's like trying to make out with you, and you're just like, oh, what the I was like, oh, that's like my shrunken head.
Hey, babe, I'll tell you
Yeah,
how
I'll tell you how I got my I got my shrunken head.
I do like it's got some weird details with the head being too big, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it does imply a story, and I do want to know how he got it.
I'm also more curious about why he has this random picture of just a truck.
As someone who owns a life-size replica of the baby from Eraserhead, I relate very strongly to this character. It has it has sometimes impeded on my love life. Not always. Sometimes it helped. Not like helped in like a married way kind of. And then cut that.
No, we're not cutting that. Yeah. Although I do think that if I were in that situation and then he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my shrunken head," and I'd just be like, "Huh."
Go on.
So that's small for you, okay? Anyways,
Not a deal breaker, but I would like to hear the rest of the story, and then I'll decide from there.
So where do you want to put it? It is visually striking.
It is visually striking, and it works very well with the title. There are a few errors with it, so let's say B.
Yeah, let's go B. Yeah.
And it makes sense that B would be the most populated.
Yeah. Bell curve and whatnot.
Night of the Living Dummy.
I just want to point out, this is when I was born. When were you born? 80 something. So
88.
So you're older than
I'm older than all of these.
Okay.
Night of the Living Dummy 3. So this time, Slappy has assembled a gang. And they're all given like old-timey gangster names, like Rocco, and her name is the girl in the pink. Her name is Hot Lips.
Yeah.
And they all talk like old 20s gangsters.
However, I should point out that he's still the only one who's living because this is still singular, right?
That's
I don't
true.
know. I mean, I'm assuming.
I think they're all alive in this one too. It's just called that because it's part 3.
But he's the only one who's like, sitting up with his own weight. Everyone else
true.
is like just like leaning.
Maybe he thinks they're alive, but they're not.
Yeah. I would go. I don't like the art in this one. I think the art is.
Yeah, it looks a little janky in places.
Yeah. Kind of like, I don't know, like Mad Magazine. I don't know, like just.
I see what you mean. Every dummy has his day and his night.
But every dummy has his day is not a saying.
No, it's not. You can't.
It could just be every dummy has his day. That would be enough. It's a parody of every dog has his day.
You can't parody it and then make another variation on that. It's too big of a stretch. And it's called Night of the Living Dummy, not Day of the Living Dummy. But
yeah, I'd say.
What if the book were called Day of the Living Dummy?
Yeah, I'd say
like how Night of the Living Dead went into Dawn of the Dead and the Day of the Dead.
I'd say C.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that.
Because it's not as like completely unscary as these ones, or as just like terrible like these ones.
Yeah. Bad Hair Day. Pick a scare, any scare. He's no Easter Bunny.
Well, no, because he's a hare.
Yeah.
So this is just being pedantic, like.
Yeah. Also, it's just the killer rabbit from the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah. I do like the story that the image tells. Like, oh, he has a broken wand, which is why
I do like that. Or maybe it broke his wand by biting it with those horrible teeth.
So this is one of those weird things where the title is ruining it for me. Title and the tagline.
It's just too hokey.
Like, the image is okay, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, what if you conjured up... What if you're a magician and you accidentally conjured up an evil rabbit?
But this is just making me cringe.
This is also definitely one of the more overtly comedic books in the series. Like, with this goofy premise of, like, a killer magician's rabbit. And I guess his teeth look like playing cards, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I see that.
But... I don't know, like, it's just a little too... It feels like they're grasping for ideas at this point.
Yeah.
So, C. It's not awful, but it's kind of weak.
Definitely. Do you want to guess what it's about? Or I guess you just... yeah, okay.
He's summoned a bad rabbit. This cover actually scared me.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the, like...
Yeah, I like the idea that you open a carton from the grocery store, and one of them is just giant and green.
Yeah, and it hatches and this horrible ooze thing comes out. There no yolk. That is a joke worthy of Egghead from Batman, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. I feel like this gives a lot of information, but what do you think this plot's about?
Alright, so they've just moved to a new neighborhood, and it's the grocery store this time. It's not the attic.
They moved to a new grocery store.
They moved to a new neighborhood.
And then someone tells them never go into the grocery store.
Little Todgy and his family have moved into a new neighborhood, And no one's saying don't go in the grocery store, but every time they go to the grocery store, he gets just like weird vibes. And then they buy eggs from there, and one of the eggs... Oh, wait, no. He gets weird vibes, and also, because it's from Mars, there's like a meteor shower, and he can see like a meteor falling from the sky, and it lands in a nearby chicken farm. And some of the chickens' eggs get corrupted into these egg monsters from Mars, and they wind up in the local grocery store, and his mom buys them, and the egg hatches, and this horrible little ooze comes out, and it tries to eat him, and his parents don't believe him, and it escapes into the basement, and he's got to like get his friends together and hunt the egg monsters down.
What if it just like escapes into the ecosystem and just completely destroys the environment?
Ooh.
Like just kills, like becomes like a apex predator.
I think that's kind of what's happening over the course of the story, and he and his friends have to track them all down.
Yeah.
And they get like, I don't know, his dog can smell the egg.
And then they discover that its weakness is like some specific type of bird that can eat it with no problem or something.
Or
And then they just release a bunch of those birds, but then those become a problem.
maybe you can kill it with like salt and pepper or something.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that's
ketchup on
interesting.
eggs.
Yeah.
You kill it with ketchup.
I
Because
like
you
this
got to have
cover.
something silly happen.
Yeah, I like this cover.
Yeah, I think A, maybe even S.
Maybe even S, honestly. I
'Cause
like the...
that one scared me when I was
It has
a kid.
all the combinations of the things that like I keep saying that I like, where it's like something familiar
Yeah, this
with
kitchen.
like with like some sort of like threats in that familiar space.
And just the way it's dripping down,
Yeah.
it looks really goopy.
Yeah, I like that as eyes.
Yeah.
The
beast from the east. He's a real animal. Lame. I like the kind of Saturnian Clark Ashton Smith landscape underneath him.
Yeah, reminds me of Dr. Seuss, kind of.
Yeah,
Specifically
it
in that it's also kind of racist. Asian people.
yeah, from the east.
Yeah, also he looks kind of like a... I don't know. Anyways.
He's like a little koala who's evil. Koalas are some weak-ass bitches. They got claws that are sharp, but all they can do is hold on to trees.
But I do kind of like the weird setting, though.
Yeah.
I mean, also he's clearly based on a panda. Like, he's crawling up a bamboo stick.
Oh, you're right.
But, like, it's kind of scary, but it's also...
It's more just kind of strange and fantastical.
It reminds me of that episode of Looney Tunes where, like, the Porky goes to find a dodo and he goes into a bizarre nightmare world.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, I'll have to show it to you. It's, like, the best.
Okay.
I don't know. Where'd you put it?
See?
See, yeah. Do you have a...
It's all right. It's just not that scary. It doesn't... Even though he's literally reaching for me, it doesn't really grab me.
Yeah.
He's just like some weird little guy climbing up a tree in a weird environment.
Do you want to guess what it's about?
Orientalism.
Orientalism. On it. Let's, where is this? See.
Say cheese and die again! Oh.
Think negative, real negative.
I like the line, actually. And I like that one kid is wearing a Grateful Dead shirt.
This kid?
Yeah.
It's a Flash shirt, isn't it?
Oh, it could be. Oh, it's the Union of British Fascists.
Okay.
The kid is a Mosley supporter.
So, okay.
The problem with this one is it's just the first one again, but now they're inside.
But it's also worse, because, you know why? Because now they have eyes.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have eyes before.
Yeah.
I like the dead flowers in the middle.
Yeah, I also like that they're eating, like...
Oh, yeah. It's
Is
just
that a hand?
Yes.
I thought it was, like, supposed to be like a turkey bones, but no, that's a hand.
It's
which
a human
doesn't,
hand and
doesn't
some
make
ribs.
any sense. You know, I don't like this one. It's
Yeah. What is he
awful.
feeding that dog? A rock?
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like this. Honestly, maybe even D. Yeah, kind of. I would put in D.
Yeah, because it doesn't...
Well, no, D is just like completely not scary.
Yeah, C, I guess.
Yeah,
Because,
C.
like, the Haunted Mask sequels and the Monster Blood sequel, all the Monster Blood sequels, as you said in the books, and the covers, all the covers are doing something different.
Yeah.
And Haunted Mask, like, first the kid's just putting it on, then we see a kid trick-or-treating in the mask. So it's, like, different premise. In this,
Escalation.
like, okay, they're inside, they're not barbecuing, they're sitting down to dinner, but it's way too much like, it's just the first one again.
Also, the art's not as good.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I do like think negative, real negative, because
Yeah.
it's a photo.
Also, they have expressions now, so it's just like they're just giving weird faces.
Yeah, they all look
Wait,
mad at each other.
I just want to double check. The original one didn't have. Yeah, the original one didn't have eyes. Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Okay. Ghost Camp. There's the second one about camp. Be all that you can't see.
What is that? What is this a parody of?
Be all that you can be.
Be all that you can't see. So it changed.
Also, this is the red Chuck Taylorist cover yet.
I don't know what that is.
The shoes.
Oh my god,
All
you're right.
wearing red Chuck
Except
Taylors.
for I love how you know which ones are girls because they're wearing
yeah, they have
pink,
pink ones.
red. What are they called? Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
Wearing pink Chuck Taylors.
Converse Chuck Taylor All Stars.
I bet these aren't even ghosts. They're just like the outfits that the artist is like practicing for.
But they're wearing shorts, not blue jeans with the bottoms rolled up.
Oh my god! Sorry, can I guess what the plot of this is?
Please do.
It's about so you see how there's this American flag here?
Yeah.
This is criticizing the gun laws in the United States of America.
Okay.
This image shows that all these people are missing because they were killed in a mass shooting at this camp.
Yes.
That's why this is so prominent here. This is political commentary.
Yep.
This
This girl is mad because, like, oh, why do you have
She's
to
the
get
only
political? Why couldn't it just be art
this
about
is,
nothing?
This is too soon to politicize it.
Why couldn't you just make art that was completely hollow of meaning?
Yeah.
Why can't art? Why does art have to matter? I'm mad.
Oh god, I made myself sad. Anyways, what do you think?
I think this is a decent one.
Yeah, what do you think?
Like, it's not top tier. I guess B.
Yeah,
like
it's
it tells you enough that, like, oh, this is a camp full of ghosts, and the visual of just the clothes walking out is very striking.
Yeah.
And the storm is cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. How to kill a monster. Step 1, run. Step 2, run faster.
Well, that just gives up the answer and like the.
I do like it, though, the implication, like, you can't kill it, you can only get away. And
Yeah.
again,
Also, this doesn't even tell you how to kill it. It's just run.
I like that, though. I like it that it's not telling you.
Okay. How does this compare to that one?
Yeah, it's not quite as immediate, partly because that one had a Dutch angle and this one doesn't. And also the hands just look a little bit Sesame Street to me.
Yeah, they look a bit Monsters Inc.
Yeah, this is
Also,
a fuzzy, cuddly monster.
It's clearly more, like fantastical. Like, look at his fucking key. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's true. I do like it that we are back in someone's house. That, like, okay, this is a very old door and key,
Yeah.
but
It's
like
they've
they've got a ceiling fan, they've got a light switch. It's clearly contemporary.
It's also a bit too. I don't know. I'd say it's a bit too detailed. Like it's. I can't imagine my house having this key or having.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine this being my house compared to.
If the monster's hands were scarier, I think
Yeah.
I think I would rate it a lot higher. But it like the way the claws come out of them and the bright green fuzzy felt, he just doesn't look scary. Whereas that plant guy, I bet the whole monster would make me go, ah.
Yeah.
This guy's, I bet he looks like James P. Sullivan.
Sully, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot who that was. Where do I put it?
C.
Yeah.
Like the again, the image of like a monster's hand opening a door is good, but it's been done better on the covers of Goosebumps already.
I would like to guess the plot of this. I think that this is one of the ones where they successfully killed a monster, but it turns out to be nice,
Oh,
just because of how fuzzy it looks. You know?
yeah.
Also,
And they don't realize till too late that the monster was good.
Also, I'm gonna guess this is the monster's room. He's not invading some little boy's room. No, this is his room.
That's his hat on
Yeah.
the bedpost.
Yeah.
And you can only open the door with that key.
Yeah, and he's just coming out like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, open it. Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to sleep, and then you just like monster, and then they like kill him.
Yeah, they've moved into this house, and this is the only door that can
Yeah.
open because they don't. It's been locked the whole time, and then
And
eventually
they hear
find
noises from it.
Yeah, and eventually they find the key in like a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, "All right, let's try opening it." Legend of the Lost Legend.
This is
I always thought this one was kind of lame.
F, right?
She's just a Viking scowling, and
This-
I get the title is going for silly, but it's just kind of lazy. And Finders Keepers doesn't mean anything in this context.
Well, it
It's
means
like,
she found the treasure, so she's...
okay, but it's probably her treasure. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because she found it.
she like fantastical element buried treasure, fantastical element Viking. These things go together. It doesn't feel like she's
Yeah.
going to take my treasure.
It's just like, why would I want that treasure? Where do I want to put it?
D or F. Like, the painting itself, there's nothing wrong with it, and her face looks unpleasant, but
Yeah.
I just don't buy Viking showing up as a premise for a horror story unless she's a zombie Viking, and she's
Yeah.
not.
I put an F. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
It's worse. I think it's worse
Okay.
than these ones.
Okay.
Um,
I like this one. Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns.
yeah. Put one head in front. What?
That doesn't make any
Make
sense.
any sense?
Also, look at the shoes. Once again, I actually know the ending to this one as it turns out they're aliens or something, which is lame. But I really do like this visual of like a bunch of threatening kids with these
Yeah.
jack-o'-lantern masks. And even the dog has one.
I would put A, honestly.
Yeah. And the sky is good too.
Yeah.
And just the fact that it's set on Halloween is already like perfect.
And we don't need to guess the plot because you already know the plot. But I think this owl is great though. Look at this owl. He's like staring like, what the fuck? Look at him. He's like angry and also confused.
owls are not what they seem.
I don't like this tagline though. But
No, it's a very bad tagline.
But this makes up for it. I think it's very creative too. You know.
yeah.
Um,
Kind of reminds me of Sam from Trick or Treat. Vampire
open wide
breath.
and say mouthwash.
So I like the vampire himself, and I like the image of him coming out of his coffin, but I have no idea what vampire breath.
Yeah, like is that
like what's
is
this
his
bottle?
breath going into the bottle? What's the point? What?
Yeah, why
is
is he
is he
holding
coming
flowers?
out of the bottle? And
I have questions, but not questions of the like, let's read it and find out. Questions just like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? Why is he got Alice Cooper makeup?
yeah, I put in C.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess what it's about while I put in C? Like,
Um,
explain this to me. Explain.
Okay, so
what's
the
coming
vampire,
into
he
it.
needs to take puffs from this bottle.
He has
And so
asthma.
it's like an asthma inhaler. He's got to breathe out of his bottle sometimes.
But he can't breathe. Like, he has to like suck it out from like a foot away.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's better if he's got it direct from the bottle.
yeah. And he doesn't antagonize anyone. He just goes about his day like suffering his disability. Just like,
Yeah.
well, I have to make do with this.
And he hires somebody to come live with him to like help him out.
Yeah.
Like a live-in like assistant. He's an assisted living Dracula, and they're gradually figuring out that he's a vampire, but like he's never actually drinking that person's blood. I kind of like this one.
Yeah.
I know the book is not considered one of the better ones, but I don't know. There's something about these like purple lizard guys.
I don't understand the tagline though. Just about
Just
555 1 2.
It should be
missing-
900 creep.
I mean, it's missing. Wouldn't this be missing two letters? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's 3 digits and then 4 digits. Because this is before you'd have to dial the area code.
Oh. So this is just even more wrong.
Back in the day, in the 90s when this was written, your phone number was, at least in Ontario, was just 7 digits. And I think that was true everywhere. Now you have to do the first 3 on top of that as well. You didn't have to then, when you were dialing.
Okay. So I'm not going to look
But
up
that's
what
8
what's
digits, so.
what state this book takes place in, and just to try to figure out if this is.
I believe
Correct.
that is just straight up wrong.
Yeah,
Because it's 8 digits.
I'd say B for this.
Yeah, I like these purple lizardy guys. I like how they're dressed like people, and I love that they're all crowded around a phone like they're making a prank call.
Yeah.
They've set up a hotline where like you call them and then they'll pick up and say like, "Hey, I'm a creep." Blah.
Wait, do you know the plot for this?
No.
Is that your? Wait, so sorry. So what happens when you call the creeps? What do they?
They
provide?
tell you scary stories.
Dude, do you want to start that service?
There were a lot of those in the 80s and 90s.
Just call this number and they tell you a scary story?
Yeah, there was a lot of those. It was the same technology that ran sex lines where like they'll say like, "Oh, what are you wearing? I wish
What?
you were here." But there were a lot of ads for like, "Hey kids, I'm a monster. Call my number and I'll tell you a scary story, but be sure to get your parents' permission first."
I'll tell you a ghost story.
He's
This
got a
one-
heart of cold.
This one I put C.
So, that's a deranged killer monster snow goon.
But we don't know that from this. It's just the snowman. Like,
Yeah,
it's
he
just-
only got one head. Like
Yeah.
this, by the time this came out, Calvin and Hobbes had already done better.
Yeah. I was born like a couple weeks after Calvin and Hobbes ended, I think.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure.
Huh. I thought it ran till like 98.
96.
Really? Okay. He's got a heart of cold. I mean, the lighting is good. I do get a real sense of like the shadows on him. Like I get a real sense that like this is a dark, windy night, but he's just a scowling snowman. He's not that scary, and like this is a Calvin and Hobbes threat.
Also, I just want to point out, beware the snowman.
Not beware the snowman. Beware the snowman.
But, right, this is like not a statement. It's not telling you to beware the snowman. It's
Yeah.
saying, beware the snowman. Like, it, you know,
Snowman what?
like, yeah, what does the snowman do?
Snowman has $1 million and my own private spaceship.
Also, bad tagline. I don't know. Where do you want to put it? I,
You're
put,
walking on the air.
I would do C for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Police, you could have saved her. I gave you all the clues.
Do you want to
Right. So a kid builds a snowman, and he's a little.
name Calvin, and then he runs off and plays with his...
He does like a ritual to try to bring the snowman to life, and it works. And the snowman's chasing him around, and he throws snowballs at it, and it uses those to build itself a second head and make itself bigger, and it makes a whole army of snowmen. And then he and Hobbes spray them with the garden hose at night, and they freeze over solid.
What's the name of the movie where the the one with the snowman with
Jack
who
Frost.
plays Jack Frost?
Because there are 2 movies called Jack Frost that came out that year. In one of them, Michael Keaton dies, and his ghost comes into a snowman so he can say goodbye to his family. And in the other movie, the snowman, I don't know who voices it, it's like a serial killer who's in the snowman's body, and he's killing people, and he like assaults a woman with his carrot, and it's awful.
I don't like hearing
I've seen it. It's terrible. It's not even fun terrible. It's just like a gross, unpleasant movie.
You know what I want to know? Why is this one bright red?
Because it's Christmas.
Huh.
Came out around Christmas, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's
January. No, it didn't.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a kid.
Wearing red Chuck Taylors and blue jeans.
This one's a D for me. Like,
Yeah, like
I
aside
like
from
how-
the fact that the birds look mean.
yeah, like I don't know why. It's like they're just like, oh fuck, how do I make this scary?
mean
Birds
birds.
are with red eyes. Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
nothing about this that's scary. It's like not even like a horror.
Yeah, it's wow, you learned to fly, cool. And you flew around in San Francisco. That sounds fun.
With like the mutant red-eyed birds.
Yeah, I'd hang out with the mutant red-eyed birds.
I don't think that's San Francisco because this would be red, right? Am I wrong? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, the Golden Gate Bridge is kind of reddish, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the lighting, or like that's clearly what it's supposed to be. It's clearly supposed to be the Golden Gate Bridge.
I put in D. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to guess what it's about?
A kid learns to fly, and the birds are jealous because they want the sky all to themselves,
So then they like.
and they attack him. That's the end of Freaks. It's a finger-licking nightmare. I like that.
Yeah,
actually.
I do like that.
It's not scary. So in this one, she's a trapeze artist working at a circus, and she wants to marry a dwarf for his money, but she doesn't love him. She's having an affair with the circus strongman, and she tries to poison the dwarf, whose name is Hans, so he'll die so she can get his money. But all of the other circus freaks see what she's done, and they cut off her arms, and they tar her and feather her, and they make her into a circus attraction. And they cut off the
That does
circus
sound pretty
strongman's nuts.
scary. I'm kind of divided on this because on one hand it's not scary.
I think it's supposed to be kind of silly.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's wants to be scary. So I don't know. I
This is the point where I feel like they're kind of running low on
Yeah.
ideas. Although there are still a few, at least good covers still to come.
yeah, but I don't know if these. Yeah, you're right. I would put it in. I would do C. I would say this is the same level as that rabbit. You know what I mean?
Okay. It's going for silly, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the storm behind her. All right, Don't Go to Sleep. That is just the cover to Amityville 2. No, 3.
Is it? Wait, can I look it up?
Yeah, Google image Amityville 3D.
Holy crepe!
All right, different number of fingers, but come on.
Right. Well, I mean, this
And
has the...
this finger is at a weird angle because they added it later. This is the one that was adapted into an episode of the TV show that had Don Cherry in it.
Do you know what it's about?
Yes, I do.
Oh. What is it
It
about?
is not about a big scary Amityville 3D hand. He like has dreams where everyone listens to him and pays attention to him, and it's very scary.
See, I like that. Like, all the posters are like for Goosebumps. This is what I noticed. All the posters for Goosebumps are like, you know, old horror movie posters, like from the 50s and 60s and stuff. But the stories are like Twilight Zone stories. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, the stories aren't about like monsters. They're about like...
What if you woke up and the thing was different?
What if you woke up and a thing was different?
I do like this cover a lot, though,
Yeah.
aside from the fact that it is traced from a movie poster. Because it's very visceral, like, monster under the bed, gonna get you.
Yeah, where'd you put it?
B.
B? Okay.
The blob that ate everyone. I think that is a properly freaky blob, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I do like the blob.
Yeah.
I like that it's holding everything under his tongue like it's a fucking bubble bass.
Yes.
You know, like...
He's been hiding the pickles under his tongue the whole time. He's no picky eater, because he ate everyone, you see. So wait, the monster ate everyone. What about Patrick? Did it eat him too? It ate everybody.
It was so ugly that everyone died. What do you would you?
B.
Yeah.
Because it's simple, but you know what? That is a properly freaky blob. This one really scared me when I was a kid.
Right, this is like the scariest fucking...
Last one in is a rotten ghost. That's a weak line.
It's
but
still a weak line, but...
I still say S.
Yeah, this is an S tier. Like, holy
Because
shit,
that is a
that's
scary
scary.
ghost.
Also, look at the water and the reflection. Like, that's...
Yeah, that's nicely done.
This is like fucking... I can't see the signature. Oh, yeah. No, there it is. T. Jacobus. This is your magnum opus.
This is good. So this one, this is another one at camp, obviously. And this is a camp on Cold Lake in Minnesota, I think. And there's somebody drowned there in a boating accident a few years ago. And their ghost is been spotted around, and scary things start to happen at the camp. And eventually it turns out it wasn't a boating accident, and this person was actually murdered. I'm not sure why. Maybe...
Wait, is this like you're recalling...
No, this is my interpretation.
Oh, okay. Because you're being very specific, like Minnesota.
Well, that's where there are lakes that are cold.
Okay.
Minnesota, land of a perverse number of lakes. And that somebody murdered this ghost. I think it's a girl. Somebody murdered this girl, and that's why she's a ghost. And her ghost is scary, but she's also like sad and lonely and just wants like justice. Mm-hmm. And she was murdered because she uncovered some corruption going on with the camp's finances or something. Because it can't be, it's Goosebumps. It's not going to be like she was one of the camp counselors is a sexual predator. That's not going to happen.
You'd be surprised.
Really?
Well, no, not the sexual predator thing, but like the... so first of all, S tier. Let's put this in S tier.
Terrifying.
Yeah. But for Welcome to Dead House, so the plot is they go to a new place, a new town. But it turns out that everyone in the town is a ghost. Because at one point, the big like factory nearby, they didn't do their, they weren't following regulations. Okay. And like a cloud of poison gas, just like what happened in, I think, Bhopal in India or something, went over the town and killed everyone.
Damn, that's dark.
Yeah, which is like a pretty like real life horror, where it's like fucking capitalism that just killed everyone.
Yeah.
That made everyone ghosts. But I don't think any of these other stories like really like has that same level of like,
rawness,
like societal commentary.
Because I know in Ghost Beach, it's that like they were pioneers who froze to death in the winter, and some of them are like child ghosts, and they're like, I was only 8 and I froze to death in the winter, and it wasn't fair. And it's like, when you're a kid reading that, you're like, ugh. My best friend is invisible. Not seeing is believing. That cat's face.
At least this one
is
They
invisible.
are invisible.
Yeah, it's better than...
Like, better than whatever... I
It's
can't even read it.
still not
Let's
that-
get invisible.
It's still not that scary, because they're just
Yeah.
like, okay, but he's your best friend, so you don't need to worry.
Yeah, exactly. I put in D with the other non-scary ones. Do you want to guess what it is?
So Tommy's best friend is named
Gina.
Gina, and Gina is invisible. She's not invisible at the beginning of the story, but her dad's a scientist, and she drinks what she thinks is a can of op that he's left lying around. But he was actually using the empty can to brew up an invisibility potion, and they get into all kinds of wacky shenanigans because she's invisible. And at the end of the book, her dad comes home from the lab, and he's like, "Oh no, you drank the... Oh heck, I'm such an absent-minded professor." And he brews up an antidote, and everything works out.
Wait, you know what I'm just realizing now? This cover makes no sense. So the best friend is invisible. They're holding a pizza box. Or is that pizza box lying on the...
I think it's on the counter,
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense then. Wait, so they're
holding the can of op
just
and
weirdly high up above their next to their head for some reason.
Yeah.
And then... okay, so... Oh, so that's
Clearly
kind of
have
gross.
just bitten off the tip of the pizza,
And
but
this is
not
just-
started to chew yet.
So this is currently inside their mouth, which
Yes.
is kind of weird.
and they're holding up the can of op very high for some
Yeah.
reason.
They open, like they're trying to listen to it like it's a phone.
Yeah.
They opened the cutlery drawer for pizza
pizza.
that they're not using the cutlery for. And then the cat's just here. It must have just woken up or something.
Yeah, and he's freaked out because...
Yeah.
Although a cat would actually be one of the animals better suited to process that, because cats, especially up that close, cats are very spatially aware because of the whiskers, so the cat would definitely register there is a person there in a way that, like, a dog might not.
Right.
Although a dog would sense by smell, so a person
Yeah.
would see, like, oh my god, the food's moving around on its own. The cat would be aware there's definitely someone there.
Right. However, dogs are better than cats in other ways. Danny has a cat. I have a dog. So
I am a committed cat person. I like dogs too. Dogs are cool.
yeah.
Deep Trouble 2. Something's fishy again.
The only thing that's fishy is that you know that this book is not going to be about whatever the fuck this is.
So people
Thankfully,
are diving to explore this sunken ship, but there are it's a sunken ship on a lake from times when people were shipping things across this lake, and unexpectedly there are a bunch of killer piranha-like fishies lurking down there.
for a moment, I thought this was a bush in front of its fin,
Oh,
which
it's a
implies that
giant?
it's a giant. That would be cool.
Yeah, is it huge or is it just in the foreground?
Yeah. I don't like this one. I don't know. I'd put in D. It's not scary. It's
I'd
just-
give it C. Because it's still threatening. It's just not that interesting.
Is it threatening? It's like a
It's got pointy
goldfish.
teeth.
Okay. I guess
But-
you could bite your finger and hurt a bit, I guess.
But maybe there's more of them. Maybe there's a whole school
But
of
you
them.
don't see any of that. You know,
No, but
those waters are pretty
It's
clear.
implied. Like, maybe they're just off out of the frame.
How creepy would it be if we look away and we turn back as cover, and then the girl from Camp Crystal Lake is just like floating here,
Oh.
looking at you, just like while we weren't looking at this
And the
image.
Camp Jellyjam counselor has
Just-
come out of the sunken ship.
Yeah. Have you seen a Goosebumps movie?
Yes, I saw the first one with Jack Black.
I thought it was pretty good. I
liked it.
felt I felt
Charming.
that they should have done what Cabin in the Woods did, which is have a scene like a sequence of all the ant creatures doing something. But instead, it's just all the creatures are there, but they're all just like walking. You know what I
A
mean?
montage. I did not like Cabin in the Woods, but I agree with you. A montage of all of them preying on the innocent could have been cool.
Yeah.
This one is terrifying.
Oh shoot! I didn't even see the eyes until like just now.
Oh, Jacobus on the book here.
Holy Christ, that's terrifying.
I remember reading the back of this one
Yeah.
as a kid, and that also really scared me.
What was it?
I don't know. It's like this kid is at school and he can hear like cries for help coming from behind his locker.
Jesus.
So like, are people being held here against their will? Are they stuck behind the locker? Are they ghosts who think that they're being held prisoner? Are they actually living children? S rank either way.
Okay.
Terrifying. It's such a simple image, but
So
they're watching you learn the hard way. I don't know what that means.
I mean, yeah. Well, you know, first you started a B plus, now you got an A. So
Yeah.
clearly, it's
Oh,
working.
and look, it's in gray, but there's a Chuck Taylor shoe. Did they get paid by Converse? Did Converse come to R.L. Stein and say, and T. Jacobus and say, put our...
Oh geez, I zoomed in on the shoe and just got
put our shoes on your covers as much as possible. We want to be the official shoe of Goosebumps.
Maybe. God, I love how like it's just such a familiar thing, especially for a kid, with like something.
Yeah.
God, I love this one. These shows. And I never thought about this until right now because I don't remember seeing this.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at a book fair or something. Werewolf Skin. All dressed up and no place to howl. That sucks.
Yeah.
I do like that the pennant says wolves and there's a framed picture of a bat.
Of a what?
Of a bat.
Oh yeah, it's a bat. I thought it was like flower petals.
So a kid has got a werewolf skin as a present for his birthday, which is shortly before Halloween. So he thinks like, oh, this is going to be the coolest Halloween costume. I'm going to wear this. But it turns him into an actual werewolf when he puts it on.
Oh my god, wait. Sorry, do you have like... I just thought of something. Okay,
No,
you can do...
That's all I got.
Okay. What if the people who sold the werewolf skin found a wolf, killed it, skinned it, didn't know it was a werewolf.
Because there are legends like that's how you become a werewolf by putting on the skin.
And then the dead skin corpse of a werewolf turned back into a dead skin corpse of a human. And then what if when you wear the werewolf skin, it turns back into the man it used to be on your body?
Ooh,
that'd be creepy. Like obviously it wouldn't be a children's thing, but that'd be like
that's like something out of the first
disturbing.
Hellraiser.
And then you walk around like it's Halloween. You're a kid. You walk around. Something happens. You start wearing the skin of the dead guy. Dead guy's wife and kids happen to be trick or treating.
Oh,
so you
man.
see you wearing.
At this point, the fact that it's a werewolf is almost beside the point.
Yeah, it's like it's all about the logic of that it's scarier than the werewolf.
I read a short story. I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a guy buys like this antique. I think it was like a hand of glory or something, like a mummified hand, and
hand of glory sounds really dirty.
I know. There was a thing in like 1700s or something. It's a little mummified human hand, and it like belongs to a werewolf, and it's like turning back into a wolf's paw, and it's gradually like growing into the entire werewolf, and it like escapes, and he has to fight it.
Oh, that is actually creepy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Anyways, where do you want to put this?
Oh, B, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're almost done.
We are.
Which is good, because we were like 2 hours. And
I live in your basement. I like this. Yeah. I don't remember seeing this, but just the simple line and this horrible thing lying around there.
Yeah, I like that he's like in the middle of saying this line, I live in your basement.
Talk about a monster nightmare.
Is he doing laundry? Is this his laundry?
Yeah, he's a good monster.
Like he's
doing the family's laundry.
Yeah, he's paying rent. He's like, he's just like hanging out. He's like, oh, I just until I get back on my, well, I don't have feet, but just until I get back onto my folds.
The kid makes friends with the monster that lives in the basement, and there's a monster hunter who's the villain and is trying to catch the monster.
Yeah, but no, he's like, oh, he earns his keep, and like they have to protect him from.
Yeah,
it's a very like E.T. thing. You know what I mean?
Also, at the end of Werewolf Skin, it turns out that the people who sold the skin are the same people who made the haunted mask.
Oh yeah, that could work.
Unexpected crossover.
This is the Danny and Jimmy Goosebumps cinematic universe.
Yep.
Based only on the covers, not the actual nothing that R.L. Stein wrote.
Yeah, he's another good monster. I like good monsters.
See, this is what I would be right now if I didn't meet my fiance. Just like a blob living in my parents' basement. But now I live in my with my fiance.
Well, he pays rent. He does laundry. It's clearly not his laundry. He doesn't wear clothes.
Yeah.
But...
Where do I put this? A?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. This is a pretty good ranking so far. Well, so far.
I seem to remember other ones that... Yeah, I guess I mentioned earlier one with... Oh, I'm not as big on this one. It's the weaker of the Monster Bloods.
But
the monsters just look goofy. I
do like how different they look. Also, I like that this one is
that's funny.
Inflating out of the shower head.
Someone's fetish. They all have those like the lips though. They all look like they're gonna gossip about you in nasal voices.
They're just wearing the hair curler thing.
Their eyes are shaped like those horn rimmed glasses that women in The Far Side wear.
Oh my god, it's only what it is.
And then I said to her, if you want,
here's the thing.
it ready by Thursday.
If you open the door to your bathroom and this is what you see, that'd be pretty
You
scary.
didn't finish your paperwork, Wazowski.
Okay, but also the tagline, this blood is bad to the bone.
Blood doesn't have bones.
But also...
These guys look like invertebrates.
That's not even a pun. There are no bones on the cover. So
Yeah.
what's... Like, if it was like skeletons, they're bad to the bone.
This is the first of the Monster Blood covers that does not impress me.
Yeah. Want to go see? Or...
Yeah.
Because it's not, like, completely unscary like the rest of the Ds.
Yeah, and opening your bathroom to find it's crawling with horrible slug things would be scary if they looked more like the Deadly Spawn and less like that. But I remember a whole bunch of other covers that maybe were part of like a second wave of Goosebumps.
Yeah, this is just the 62 original.
Because I mentioned one of the cover was a jar full of tarantulas and like a kid was being dared to put his hand in or something. And
maybe we'll do that next Halloween.
there was one with like a swamp monster on the cover.
Yeah. Cool. So let's just quickly, we don't have to like talk about each one, but just quickly glance over like our picks just to make sure we're still fine with that. S tier, I think, is pretty good.
These are the ones that are the most like viscerally scary.
Yeah.
Or I don't think the Say Cheese and Die cover is quite as scary, but it's intriguing.
Yeah.
And it's a little eerie and it's got skeletons on it, so that's cool.
Yeah, and it scared me pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty well when I was a kid.
Okay.
These ones, remember, it's a good combination of like familiar and scary.
Yeah.
I want a poster of the Scarecrow one.
Yeah, it's a great image.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can get posters of these. Probably.
Is there anyone on this that you want to bump up to S tier?
No, but they're all really quite good.
Yeah.
I like them all a lot.
B, let's see if there's... So B, I'm noticing a lot of like no kind of like just objects. I think dead house, Monster Blood. It's a tent. Anything here you think you want to move up?
Excuse me. I'm basically happy with all of them. Like, honestly, I might move Dead House up to A.
Okay.
Because like the reaction you had when I pointed out the guy in the window, I think really speaks a lot to the power of that image.
Okay.
And I think it is definitely better than these other ones that we have on B tier. Mm-hmm. Some of which are pretty good, but C are a little more basic, a little less. Either the ones that are kind of a reach, or the ones that are just a very basic depiction of a standard monster like a mummy or a dummy.
Exactly. Oh, hey, these two rhyme. Yeah, or a ghost or Yeti or whatever. D are the ones that just aren't scary at all. Honestly, I think we should put, because like, is this Schick one better than the B one?
Oh, good question. No.
Yeah, let's move this down.
Yep. All right. Where did we put the Night of the Mutant? I wouldn't Attack of the Mutant.
C.
I might honestly bump that one down to D as well.
Okay, cool.
Because just seeing it's like, this isn't what Goosebumps is supposed to be.
Yeah,
I don't want superhero pastiche.
Yeah, well, like I said, your...
This isn't what Goosebumps is supposed to be, said the guy who never read any Goosebumps.
yeah, we have like a Broadway musical and a superhero.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's more along the lines of the silent movie Phantom of the Opera, or like... as long as he's not Gerard Butler, I'm happy.
And these ones are just when the art is just like really questionable.
Yeah.
Especially this one where he's not even invisible.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. Cool. Any of these that you want to like just talk about again that stand out to you? Maybe not ones that you want to be S tier, but just any ones that you have anything to say, anything that we didn't talk about.
I like the Lawn Gnome one. Like, I'm all right with the fact that we put it in C. I just like I like the convention in horror, and Gremlins is the best example of this, but of like nasty little guys as monsters. And most of the movies that do this are terrible. Critters is at best okay. Gremlins is honestly quite flawed, but I still like it. Hobgoblins is a pile of shit, but something about nasty little creatures, I feel like there's so much potential for like a really good horror movie there that just hasn't quite been made yet.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. Cool. So I think that's pretty much we've been talking for like over 2 hours, so I think that's a good place to end it.
I guess so.
This is our final Goosebumps cover tier list. I don't know when those will be up. Hopefully, it'll be up before Halloween. Anyways, happy Halloween.
And try not to get murdered.
Yeah, I'm gonna go read the one where he's the dog. Okay. Bye. Dun 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 dun.